I'm all out of sorts. Okay, so this is a different times. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Click R3 number 49. I messed up where it was going to be originally, so I had to fix it. So sorry if people are just now pouring into the room. But hey, we're all out of sorts. We don't know which way's up right now, so we're working through it. Ryan even broke out the cheetah print for this. That's how serious this is right now. How's it going, Ryan?
I'm very serious.
I told you this is like serious business right now, man.
As it should, as it should. It's a dark time for PlayStation history.
It kind of is actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is dark
It is.
times.
It most certainly is.
Let me fix that. There we go. Okay.
John, you're still get your shit together, John.
We're good.
We're
on the channel. We're on the right channel. We're good. We're good.
All right.
I was just seeing everybody pouring in here. It is starting. Yep.
It was such an informal start to the show. You're still talking about fixing the show as the show's already live.
Hey, I just made it for like 15 minutes later and fixed it, but it's fine. You know, we gotta go live because man, it's been something out there over the last 24 hours. I got Ryan with the fire and the hand over the mouth in the thumbnail at the same time. You know, it's a big deal.
I hate doing shit like that, but you have to.
I mean, I get it. This is one of those instances where I'm like, I saw it pop up. I was like, yeah, that's about right. That makes sense. I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
Shock and all. And I told you before, like we were starting the show. I was like, I know we have a whole thing figured out for we're going to go over. It's like, dude, you just throw that script away at this point because man, I did not see that one coming for this week. I don't think anyone did. And that's all everyone's talking about right now. And I get it because there is so much to this like single topic.
Well, look, John, I've still got show notes. We can consolidate a vast majority of it to a smaller portion of the show.
I'm telling you, man, Sony can't even say anything without people getting on them on social media.
Of course, they've done this a few times now with any sort of bad news drops. Their social media channels purposely like go radio silent for like 1 to 2 days. They really do pump the brakes on their own channels when this stuff happens.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen it like that. This might be the worst I've ever seen.
Look, we'll just address it right away, right? I mean, the first thing I think we should cover real quick, it's like somewhat analogous.
Yeah, it's fine. Good.
Which is that when the week started, I think this was over a Saturday. I think it's a little bit old now, but there was a notice that PlayStation sent out where due to content license agreements, over 550 Studio Canal distributed movies will be removed from users' libraries from their account, which, you know, for folks that don't remember a long time ago on PS3, PlayStation would sell like videos, like movies, TV shows you could rent, buy. They got out of that business a long time ago, but you can still like watch your purchased movies on PS4 or PS5 because they got like a little PlayStation video player app. So it's literally there just as a compliant way to like play stuff that you bought on your PS3 10 something years ago. But, you know, 10, 20-year licenses are probably drying up. So Studio Canal, I guess they don't want to renew it. PlayStation probably has no motivation to renew it. And so much like a license is, they can revoke it at any time. It's part of the PlayStation EULA. So on September 1st, if you bought any of those movies, it's not a delisting. You're just not going to get it anymore. You're taking it off your account. Boom, gone.
Yep, that's it. They took it out of your library. Like you purchased it, but they're taking it out of your library. So I think that is very important to note that story before we get into the big topic, because it comes back to the idea of ownership with digital items and if you actually own them or not.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So that happened. And then the big thing on Wednesday, so this was only yesterday at the time of us doing this live, but it was the scary white logo on a black background, important notices for two things going on with the PlayStation business, right? Number one, PS3 and PS Vita stores are closing this year and later next year. The layout here is Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, PS3 store closing August 2026, very soon. Additional Latin America and Middle Eastern countries, the PS Store and PS3 will close late 2026, All other countries, the PS3 and Vita stores close July 2027. So you've got about a year for most other locations, and they do confirm you'll be able to re-download content for the foreseeable future after the closing dates. I'm not sure if we have, yeah. And here's I mean, John, you remember this was a Click R3 prediction for me. I don't know if I predicted it this year, but I definitely did last year.
You did. I know you did last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I was off by a year, but like I was thinking, like, actually, like, because they tried to do this in 2021. So I don't want to say it's like, oh, we got way longer than I thought, but we kind of did get much longer than we thought. Past the Wii and 360, no less.
Yeah, I was gonna say the PS3 is last holdout. The 360 and the Wii gone in terms of their storefronts. The Vita, I mean, there were dozens of us to begin with, but I mean, I think it was just the idea of they're shutting down the stores, and this was years ago. Immediate backlash to it. But I think then people were like, okay, it's on borrowed time, so now I know, even though they usually give us like a year heads up, 10 months heads up, something like that. It's like, okay, I know now I need to, if I really want stuff hold that store, I need to start thinking about it. So I think it's been years and people were even surprised that the stores were still up. I feel like that wasn't as big of a thing for people. They went, yeah, okay. I mean, the PS3 will be 20 years old, more than 20 years old in the US by the time they shut it down. I think people kind of get it. Like, yeah, okay. You can still re-download your stuff. So
yeah, they say, I actually just got the email for it today from on one of my accounts that says, this change is happening because after nearly 2 decades, the PS3 and PS Vita can no longer support the updated commerce, payment, and security needed to keep PlayStation Store operating reliably on those devices. Which I think that's the thing that is lost on people. They actually can't keep these stores going with like how old they are. Like, in theory, if they want to put money into like updating them, but we know that's not going to happen. They're legacy platforms. The e-commerce side of them for the security portion is like running very old security certificates. That's why they stopped credit card transactions years ago. So it's like tough for me to like validate it. I wish it could operate for as long as they reasonably could, but I kind of think that's what we just had is like an additional 6 years from the first time they closed it down. I will say this though, nobody thus far, and no console manufacturer has cut off re-downloads. That's the big one, because that's when it's like Wii. You can still re-download Wii stuff. Same for 360, 3DS eShop. So, I mean, my hope here now is, okay, we better get another minimum 5, but ideally 10 plus years of being able to re-download.
That'll be the big story. Is I assume the way that these companies are saying it, Nintendo said it, Sony said it, they say foreseeable future. That's how they phrase it. And that makes me think, okay, eventually we're not gonna be able to re-download this stuff. That's kind of it? Because I assume that they're only gonna be able to track it or at least provide it for so long before, I don't know, they need this, either they need the space or there is legitimately something with their certificate system, or even in that case, they're like, man, we really don't have a lot of people re-downloading this stuff anyway. So that will be a big talking point when it happens, because it is legitimately then you bought stuff from us and we're not going to provide it to you anymore. And again, that comes up with the digital ownership situation and these storefronts. If you really think about it, they're not that old, like online stores for game consoles, right? Like it was what, 2010, I think it started to really show up like that. So it's been 16 years. That's 2 console generations, you know?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you phrase it, right? Like the thing we're like in uncharted territory in the sense that we don't have any like litmus test. We have no history.
Right.
Like these are the earliest HD internet connected consoles. So there's no shelf life. There's no like expected, like it should be 10 years, it should be 20. Like we don't know. I mean, I guess what we do now know is that we have a shelf life on the stores, like for buying, which was 15-ish to 20-ish years. PlayStation was the outlier here, which I do like. But re-downloads is the big thing. I think Nintendo actually did, correct me if I'm wrong, John, I think the language was on their support site was that it won't be possible forever. Like they put specific language of at some point we will end that too.
Yep.
Which is, that's big.
Yeah, that's they all have their lawyers read over the legal team just to make sure they provide the correct wording so there's no gotcha in, so many years when they decided to do it. I do think at some point, like the Wii, which the Wii is interesting because it's not tied to an online account, it's tied to the system.
Yeah.
So that's a weird one too, because people can just lose their Wii and then that it's just gone. So it's not really operating on the same plane as PlayStation 3, which again about to be 20 years old, but that is linked to an account system. So
Right.
then, or I guess you could look at I guess like the Wii U, and there are many different places you can re-download your stuff right now. That it's gonna be interesting as we get to like the 25-year, 30-year mark.
It's true. Yeah. But so this is my concern. Re-downloads better be a thing for, I hope, minimum 10 years. But that means we won't be having this conversation of it ending until 2030, 2036 or something.
Yeah.
So I hope that's the case. But the big shocking news, this really is mind-blowing, is there's been a lot of pushback. PlayStation is ending physical disc production in January of 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. They say this is in response to shifting trends in consumer preference. New games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. So there's a few items to note here, just so people have full context on the gravity of the situation. Number one, the physical presence that every disc goes through them. So Sony has a facility. It's the DADC facility. They manufacture PlayStation discs in Austria, Czech Republic, and they have a plant here in America. It's in Terre Haute, Indiana. So all PlayStation games are made there. It's not first party. It's everything. So when you make a game, you submit the build. They print the disc. It's all through them. Now, we always knew this like lived and died with the platform holders. We know there's no third-party manufacturer of PS5, for example. But just in this sense, it's not a first-party thing. They're straight up saying by 2028, they're just not making any more discs, period, across the board. The other thing that I'm sure you might have noticed, John, they say games will be available only on the store and at retail. So it's been pointed out by a few people, but PlayStation has multiple lawsuits globally for an accusation that the PlayStation Store is a monopoly. Now, I'm pretty sure every one of those lawsuits hinges on the idea of they stopped doing this in 2019, but it was selling digital game cards, not wallet funds, but individual game cards at retail. PlayStation stopped doing that, which gives them that vulnerability of getting sued over and over. So now they're straight up saying that they will be doing that again, which I assume is them covering their asses here. But also the fact that they put this post out now is very clearly telegraphing, like, no, we're not going to pump the brakes on this. It telegraphs a lot about PlayStation 6, and there's so many other can of worms that we'll get into, but I'll kick it over to you.
Yeah, what was your morning like when this? Can you walk me through it? Because I'm picturing you like it's raining and there's like lightning in the background.
No, I described it as, so I was sleeping. It was like 9:30. My phone, I'm like half awake now, right? My first alarm's about to go off. My phone is fucking going off left and right. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then I see a bunch of like DMs from various viewers. I'm sure somebody here might have sent me one. I'm like, oh God, well, clearly PlayStation did something. And so I'm in bed reading the news, and I'm like, it's like the meme of that guy who's barely awake going, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So right away, I was like, well, I guess I got to get my ass up and talk about this. So the video I uploaded was like after I was only awake for like 20 minutes and I made that video.
But you were still in reaction phase at that point.
Yeah. I mean, so this is the thing. Like, I always have relatively calm, cool, collected reactions of anything. I'm just not a very overly animated person. Obviously, we've had time to sit on it now. This is batshit insane. This is way too soon.
I do think it was too soon as well, because for the longest time we've been on the show going, one more. The PS6 generation, they'll probably work to be phasing that stuff out, but we're going to go into the 2030s before we're having that conversation. Yeah. And we're barely going to get into 2028 before that. It not only the conversation happens, but it's just done. Like it actually happens. The extinction, the ending of PlayStation physical games, which is crazy because they've always been like, physical media whether it's the CD, the DVD, the Blu-ray, they've always tried to be kind of cutting edge with the stuff as well. And it's kind of over now for them if the way that they're trending. I do have questions about the idea of them backtracking on this thing because people are putting up a fight right now, Ryan. I will give them credit. They are. Did you see the post that they put up? Like did you go back and look at how many views are on that thing?
Well, that's the thing. This is like, and rightfully so, probably the biggest pushback they've ever gotten, like ever.
Yeah.
Like, and this is the kind of news that it's not just an enthusiast circle of people complaining about it. This permeated well beyond like other companies slam dunking them. It's hitting like legacy media. Like Gene Park was on CNN talking about it. Like, but this is huge, like our medium is one of the last ones that it's like not uncommon to still have games on the retail shelf and for people to, buy and play physical games. I see people like tend to throw around obviously the ratio, right? Like Sony disclosed their recent sales ratio for digital. They do this on their investor portal, cracked 80% last quarter. The thing is 20% of that, even 15, even 10% of that, the volume we're talking about, that's still thousands, tens of thousands, millions of physical games, millions. So even though it's 20-ish%, like it's still a ton. I also want to point out Matt Piscatella, he dropped some stats too about PlayStation 5. I think because he covers Circana, so it should be US, but I think he said global. But he disclosed that the sales ratio for consoles, there's like 75% are still disc consoles. Like life to date consoles can play discs, 75% of them. And then 20-ish% or more than 25% is digital. But he said the attach ratio for the disc drive was like really low. It was like 5%.
I think it's like people see it as like the just in case, feature for the system. Just in case I want to borrow a disc, just in case I want to watch a Blu-ray or a DVD. That's kind of the idea. It's like, I get it why you would spend a little more for the lifetime of a system that you think you may have for 7 years or something. It's like, yeah, it's going to the living room. Maybe we want to watch the new, I don't know, the new Toy Story when it comes out on Blu-ray or something like that. It's like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever, we'll get that. You know what I mean? So I do understand why the disc-based systems, and that's the thing that's kind of strange. I know Sony sees the numbers. Obviously, they're in front of them on the game side, but if the system is legitimately moving the most units with a disk drive, you kind of go, okay, this would only really make sense then to continue that path with the systems.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you'd mentioned about the timeline, right? Or that they like, you feel like a reversal is possible, or like the timing's odd because John, do you remember Insider Gaming's report back in September of last year, which is less than a year ago? He had a report about PlayStation 6, and granted it's a rumor, obviously. Tom has been really well sourced on hardware. It is incredible the amount of insight he's had on accessories and hardware plans. He got everything right about the detachable drive for the PS5 Slim. So anyway, that report was about PlayStation 6. He said that they would have 2 SKUs based on sources, 2 SKUs, one with the disk drive. So that was, in September. Obviously that report didn't say anything about if it would be for PS6 printed games or if it's simply there to, compliantly play a back catalog. But there was also the report out of Austria about Sony's DADC plant there. So they're responsible for manufacturing about 600,000 discs every day. And then from 2028 onwards, that number is expected to decrease significantly because these are words directly from Sony's DADC CEO, Dietmar Tanzer. He said, quote, PlayStation currently accounts for approximately 50% of our volume, and of that, approximately 20% are new orders. We are talking about roughly 10% of the volume in 2028, end quote. And we also learned that all that staff, they're just being like repositioned. So everybody on that line, they're getting moved over to a different assembly line to work on manufacturing optical micro lenses. And the report did mention that these changes have been in the works for some time. I don't know what some time means though. I feel like this was maybe a change in the last year, if that.
I think it was for in business timelines. I feel like this was somewhat recent. I don't say like it was, last week or something, but I think you're right in that this might have been decided at the beginning of this year. It's possible. It's just it, when I look at it in the way that this factory, I guess, is like reorganizing people, and like it sounds like they're not going to lay anyone off. Like it's nothing like that. Like they have other things they can do. I guess for projects of the workers there, and Sony is stepping away from it on the idea that they could backtrack on this news. I guess the people are still there, the factory's still there. I guess they could do it. I don't know, but that's my thing though. Right now, you are absolutely right, Ryan, when you say this is the most backlash. I mean, this is crazy because I feel like sometimes when you and I are talking about the physical games, we're joking and having like the banter back and forth because you never buy anything digital or whatever. At times, I do feel like we are a little crazy at how much of the physical stuff that we buy, and I'm like, is it just like us and a few people or something? You know what I mean? Because I see so many people buy it digitally. I don't know. This kind of has restored my faith in all the gamers out there.
Really?
It has. It's like, you know what? Maybe I'm not crazy for importing that physical copy of Tokyo Extreme Racer. Maybe I'm not John, the crazy one.
No, I would always validate that. I think what it is people standing ground on, what's important. Because, like, yes, the majority of people do buy digital games, but you don't want to have this like, fuck you, I got mine attitude, which some people are doing. It's like, oh, this doesn't affect me. I think rightfully, it's the stance of this doesn't affect me, but this really sucks, because it's been said and known for years, which is it's a consumer right. I mean, the most important thing about physical is that it's the consumer right to buy it from different stores. You can sell it, you can lend it, you can trade it. And it also is direct competition against the PlayStation Store. When you're buying on strictly digital platforms with consoles, they're closed ecosystems. So you are beholden to every publisher and Sony on when you get a sale. More so when they've been A/B testing pricing like crazy on the store. Those tests have been running for up to a year now, a little bit longer.
Me on that.
They sure did. They sure did. And so excusing the fact that they might be doing digital cards again at retail, it's just it's awful. It's awful, and more so because we never found the bottom, right? Like last year was an all-time low. Like in the US, for example, it was a 25-year historic low for spending for physical video games. So we still have not had a chance to have a vinyl moment. I think we could have had it. Like at some point, the bottom will be found, and then you're just going to understand, okay, here's what the market is for the few people that are still doing this. Because this has massive ramifications for big publishers that still need a retail presence, but boutique publishers as well. Your Limited Run, your IM 8-bit. I mean, a lot of their model is PlayStation games, and they're kind of like the vinyl model. Vinyl's rebounded at some point. I think games could have had that, but now we're never going to find it because there's no third-party manufacturers of discs and consoles. It ends with Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. The second any of them choose to say no, you don't get a choice. It's terrible.
Yeah. So the way I operate with my my game buying habits is I basically, as you mentioned, the competition between the physical and digital side, I just go where the price is the cheapest at times as I get further into the year. So one of the most popular things to do, right, is if you see a game come out earlier in the year and it's like, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence for the price of 70. I think I'd like it. What does everyone say? I'll wait for a Black Friday sale. I'll wait for the Cyber Monday sale, right? That's kind of out the window now if you think about in this world, which is kind of sad because that was awesome for physical games to be like, oh, I'll see what the circulars say or whatever. But that's how I operate. I look, if there's a game I'm thinking about, I go, which one's cheaper, digital or physical, and by how much? So sometimes I did that video on the variable pricing. Dude, they had like the Metro collection for $7 digitally. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was marked down 80%. I'm like, okay, okay, I'll get that one, whereas if you look around and find it physically, it's like 3 times as much or something. But then on the opposite end, sometimes you find it physically on Walmart because they're competing with Best Buy, so they knock the price down, and it's people are showing Metal Gear Solid 3, and it's $27 at Walmart, but then on the PlayStation Store, it's $70 or something like that. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm getting it physically. But that's kind of the idea is you're kind of funneling it down to literally like one source with the PlayStation Store then, and it's what they feel like selling it at that point in time because there's nothing else competing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We've had some great comments here for the super chats too. If you want to cover up some of those,
I will go through super chats now. Shout out to all the people here hanging out with us. An unfortunate 666 are watching us right now on YouTube.
Oh no, no.
Let's see. We have Crypto says Sony's dynamic pricing feels even sketchier now. Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Detroit says, do you see any realistic path to legislation can stop killing games that force a media company to reasonably provide physical media for preservation?
No way.
I don't.
It's too unreasonable to like ask a company to like stay in a business they don't want to be in. You know?
Yeah, because then you'd probably have to have that from. So picture the small indie company that's just trying to get their game to market. It might affect them and that they can't bring their game to market unless they can fill a. So when it comes to games, a lot of times you have to fill a minimum order. It could be thousands of copies. Like if you don't put that order in, then you're just not, you can't do it. So if you're like a smaller indie company, unfortunately, maybe they have rules for if it's, I don't even know how you would do that. That's what I mean. It's tough. Cash Noob Gamer says, hi, is Ryan cosplay as Craven the Hunter?
I'm cosplaying as some kind of guy that you'd find at a nightclub in Malibu.
Ryan's about to retire, so he's dressing. He's dressing up as like retiree.
Yeah, about to hit the beach after this.
Yeah. Future Millionaire says, I'm pretty sure Nintendo is enjoying watching Sony and Microsoft essentially destroying their own reputations lately. Nintendo has kind of just been over there hanging out. They released Star Fox. That's a good game. It's fun.
Yeah, it is a good game.
Rhythm Heaven came out this week. Nintendo's literally just over there just hanging out.
Listen, by the time they do something, it seems like all three of them just cannot catch a break. Nintendo gets a lot of flack for just some of the most ridiculous things sometimes. Yeah, just for existing.
Matt says, my recently played list is messed up and the newest update made things even worse. That's what I'm angry about. Wake up and fix it, Sony.
Yeah, I'll mention that real quick. We had firmware 26.04 13.420 went out, and it just is improving system software performance and stability. I have seen a number of people complain about this, but I feel like it happens not all the time, but every so often a small update does something like this. So maybe a follow-up one will address it.
Bespoke, very generous 200 CA. I think that's Canadian. I think that's what that is. Shout out to Bespoke. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers, Ryan. We here at Herman Inc. Incorporated understand that you have never bought a digital game with your own money, so we would like to offer you this Canadian voucher to buy yourself GTA 6 Ultimate Love Double H. Microphone drop.
I know. Well, this here's the thing, Bespoke. I mean, obviously now I'm sitting here thinking, shit, what's going to break the seal? And GTA 6 might unfortunately be it, but we'll talk about that when we get to GTA 6. Well,
Bespoke got spotted you, so shout out to Bespoke.
Yeah,
appreciate it. It says hear you right there.
Shout out to Bespoke.
Victor says, do you guys think PlayStation go back on its decision and announce they effed up and will continue to support UHD Blu-ray disc games? Hold on a bit. There's actually a number, Victor, of people asking that question right now. Actually, you know what? Can they go back on this, Ryan?
Can they go back? I think they can do anything. What I will say is, I would be more shocked at a reversal than not. Like that would be pretty shocking to me. I think because this is such a big thing, you know. Like this has like big implications for like their process, everything that goes into the model, you know. And there's obvious reasons why they get rid of it, right? You know, from like publishers wanting it, the leverage, not having to send gold masters like a month out from disc production, publishers getting mad when physical prints get out early, which is very clearly what Rockstar is doing and want it to do anyway. Every so often you have a game come out that facilitates a jailbreak. Like we know why they want to get rid of it. It's just more a matter of this. It's too soon.
It does feel like it's too soon. You're right on the idea of backtracking with their current plans would be difficult. I don't think it's impossible because I do think the PS6 is going to have a disk drive on it. Like I think it will. And the reason here's one of the reasons why, and actually one of the reasons why they may have to backtrack. So I thought about this a bit. If you are buying PlayStation 5 games enough to where this has you, online going crazy or what have you, which as we're seeing, it's a large number of people, many people out there, mainstream. Trevor Noah was talking about it, and like all these brands, like I said, are dunking on Sony over it. I feel like the people who are buying, like, have the shelves of games like behind you right now in your frame, you are the enthusiast. You are the one that Sony assumes is going to buy the PlayStation 6, even if it has to be $1,000. You're the one with the PS5 Pro. You know what I mean? So in Sony's mind, they kind of have to make you want to buy the PS6, so they would want you to be happy and excited about it. I don't see a lot of enthusiasts right now excited or happy. No. I see them kind of like almost planning out their next move. Like, that's what it is. It's like they're planning out the next move. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, I kind of feel bad because I feel like you're going to struggle buying that first digital game. So
it'll sting. It'll sting for sure.
So I have to ask you, Ryan, with that in mind, did this announcement, did it knock down some of your excitement for the PS6?
Oh, I don't know if I had massive excitement for PlayStation 6. It's just incredibly depressing. But there's so many unknowns, right? So like, as you're alluding to, you think it will have a drive.
So the reason I think it has to have a disk drive is because if it doesn't, someone like you is starting from scratch the next generation, and that doesn't work for them because they want to feel like you're kind of trapped. You know what I mean? In the ecosystem. So if it has a disk drive, even if it's some HD DVD Xbox 360 looking thing where you got to run a cable around, at least okay, if I buy this, all these games that I've invested in work. If they don't have that there, for you, it's like if they told all the people who are 100% digital, those digital games don't work anymore. You got to restart and buy your physical games. Like, we're not doing digital. It's all physical now. It's complete opposite, the flip side of that. So I think in a way they kind of have to offer it. I don't necessarily know if I wouldn't say it's going to be there by default. And I think it's going to be some janky looking thing you have to buy and plug in. But I kind of think they know they have to have the option because they went an entire 7 years, but then also go back to the PlayStation 4. Basically, since 2013, people have been collecting these physical Blu-rays.
Well, so that's what it's like heavy speculation the past day, but I'm curious what that looks like because I'm with you. I think they do have to have something that facilitates the playback of 4 and 5 games via disc. It's just like, and I've used this language before. It's like, how compliant is that? We say compliant because it's kind of like a compliant vehicle. Like, it might not be the most elegant solution. It might not even be a very good product, but it's simply there to appease a certain type of audience, or it might even simply be there to appease, regulators or any sort of guardrails against litigation, So I'm just curious if it is the sort of tack on USB-C box, if there will be a sort of, thing that can tack onto the system, kind of like the Slim is right now, or if they'll offer a program. So I wanted to at least include this because sure enough, there's like Xbox reporting riding the coattails of this. So on the Xbox side of things, which this is what was really shocking, right? You kind of expect this news about Xbox before PlayStation. But sources with Windows Central report that Helix will not have a disk drive. The Verge is reporting that Microsoft has been internally testing a disk-to-digital program, and that's going to work with X1 and Series X disks only. But apparently the way that works is that you would insert a compatible disk. It grants a digital entitlement for that game, and the entitlement is tied to the disk. Now, the way that would work, or at least how I'm reading it, is that you can move that disk from account to account or different consoles. It's just that when you do that, it pulls the digital entitlement to that specific disk. So like you insert it into an Xbox, pulls the digital entitlement. That sounds like the same thing we have right now. Very close to it, obviously. But then you can remove the disk, keep playing the game digitally. It's just if the disk goes somewhere else, let's say it gets installed into a different Xbox, it would invalidate that disk. Which I would say as a compromise is actually kind of awesome, which is crazy to say because I didn't know that discs had unique designators. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's the case for PlayStation.
I think I have to look, but I know, so I know it is for the Switch
Yeah.
One, because I had that Make Switch cartridge, and that was the whole thing that people were running into is people who are kind of, I mean, I guess just dumb, were downloading images online that people were sharing, and everyone was like, "Guys, don't do that and go online with it because they have unique certificates. You're supposed to dump your own games, basically." And then Nintendo, of course, can see, oh, there's 2 or 10 certificates that are the exact same online at the same time. They're all getting banned. But so it apparently not all Xbox One games will do this. So I think at some point they started attaching a unique identifier to each disc. And they're able to pull that certificate and then attach to your account. And they don't ban you if someone else takes the disc and pops it in their system. They just take it off of your account and put it onto the other person's, which is good because I mean, that means you have the disc or have had it at some point. And then technically, if you lose the disc, it won't matter because no one else can be able to take it off your account and you'll just have it attached forever, I guess. So I remember that was the original plan for Microsoft is you would take your library physical games to their Microsoft store and they would add it to your digital account and then they would take it out of circulation. And I assume this is how they were going to do it. And there was just no reload feature of it's going to move from account to account. But I do like this idea in that it's at least a way to digitize your collection. Or I will say this: pop the disc in, pull the entitlement, and then you can put it up on the shelf, and you don't have to worry about damaging the disc or having it in the drive or what have you. Right? For kids, for example, it's great. You know, you don't have to worry about them trying to take the disc out of the case or leave it somewhere or something. So that seems very convenient. But I do think that would be a response to them not having a disk drive on Helix. And that way it's like, okay, well, if you have an Xbox Series X or you have an Xbox One, you're able to digitize your collection anyway and it'll work on Helix.
Right. And that's the thing. Like under this context, in no way would I think I want this to be an issue that gets solved that way. But if it got solved that way, I would definitely be a little bit happier with the whole situation. You know, certain programs, like with other companies, like sometimes they'll be like, send us the thing and we'll give you a code. And it's like, oh, well, I'm forfeiting the physical copy for digital, which I wouldn't want to do that. So, you know, if I kept the discs, but I was able to digitize the library, they stay on the shelf so I can still have this hubris on the wall. And I get a digital version for the handheld, which was really like going to be a problem for me when that handheld comes out. Yeah, I think there's a compromise there that I wouldn't love it, but I wouldn't scoff at that, obviously. But I don't think there's any unique identifiers on PlayStation games. But I could be so. If anybody knows that, I'd love to know. But I don't think there's anything unique about discs. I think they're all treated the same once they're inserted into a console.
I know PS3 games. Yeah, I obviously that's true because people go online after ripping them and loading on modded systems all the time, and Microsoft specifically mentions that 360 and original Xbox games do not work. So I'm curious. PS4 games, you're right. That's the one I'm interested in. I guess technically even PS5, but that at least for Microsoft, that could have been part of their Xbox One DRM thing. Remember when that was all going down? Maybe those were like that's the remnants of it. They had like unique identifiers for each disc at one point in time, and that was the plan, and they pulled back on it but still kind of left it there, you know, as a maybe we will need this just in case, and it's time for that. So I do wonder, Ryan, if they so I feel like they had to tell us this because we're we're a year and a half out, but this feels like something they have to tell everyone with plenty of time just for people to get their affairs in order or whatever with this. I wonder if they do have something like that planned because it does feel like they're like, obviously we're pulling from this thinking, okay, the PS6 is just all digital. That's like the conclusion we're coming to. But I do wonder if there's more to this than obviously Sony can't tell us about the PS6 yet, or they're choosing not to. They want to get through, I think, one more holiday, obviously with GTA 6 coming up with the PS5, and then maybe January or February they start talking PS6. I wonder if there is something to the idea of like digital ownership with unique identifiers for each game that you buy digitally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there something? Because the thing that Sony has to understand is if they say make this move and remove physical games from circulation, for this case the PS6, they already have class action lawsuits. Dude, they're going to be such a target for regulators and lawsuits. It's going to be insane. I mean, some of these places are looking at them as, monopoly because they control so much of the console market and it's a closed ecosystem. And look what's happening with Apple, where so many people are coming after them to try to open up their walled garden. It's like, does Sony want to do that, or would they proactively go, here are some things we can do to make it easier to fight these cases off? And sure, it means that someone could technically trade their digital game around or sell it. Like, can we figure that out? Because really what they're trying to cut back on, yes, I understand the control aspect of, we don't want used games floating around in the marketplace, physical games, because technically then you can walk into a GameStop, buy a used game instead of a new one. That costs us money. We don't want to produce the discs. We don't want to ship them around. But if we save on that, we will at least come up with a way for you to treat your digital purchase as if it's almost a physical copy in the sense of ownership and trading and selling.
Well, that's what I'm curious about too. That's why I think it's so pertinent that they were willing to tell us, oh, we're going to have games at retail again, digital games at retail. It seems like a very clear sort of, and just an FYI, we're going to be doing this thing again, because that's basically why we keep getting sued left and right with this PlayStation Store monopoly accusation. So I'm sure they're watching that closely, but I think they have a responsibility to make sure that the existing discs are playable or convertible in some way. Mm-hmm. I'm just not exactly optimistic as to what the options would look like. The Microsoft one sounds interesting. I hate that we're like having this conversation, obviously, and I would love for it to not be a thing, period. I just want a PlayStation 6 with an optional SKU for a drive, and I still want the plant open so you can print a PS6 game. Just let other people do it. It doesn't have to be, just let it be a small little segment of the business.
You know what the real travesty of the situation is, Ryan? At somewhere in Sony right now, they figured out the color scheme for the PlayStation 6, right? They figured all that out. They figured out what the box art was going to look like.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
No, we won't. Because
I never know.
I think we were getting PS6 printed games, and so I think it was Are we in agreement? It was probably like fairly recent.
Oh yeah. No, I feel like this was this year. I think it was like 2026. This was made.
Dude, January 2020. That's crazy soon. And even with an 80% digital sales ratio, the remaining 20% still represented millions of physical video games. That is just to cut it off that soon is abhorrent. This sucks, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's so strange because if it got down to, if it was legitimately 5% of us, the audience buying physical games, I'd be like, look, we're trying. There's dozens of us. I get it, but it wasn't. And you see the reaction. Obviously, it wasn't. And even people who are fully digital are kind of like, hold on a minute. You're kind of taking away a checks and balance system here. Okay. Yeah. Because now it's like, I actually do just come to you now. And I see some of these digital prices, where it's full price. How much can someone tell me how much Demon's Souls is?
Oh,
the launch game for the PS5.
On sale, it's 30 at the lowest, I think.
Like, how much is that right now on the store? Because I just saw it flash up at retail. Okay, so it's included with the PlayStation Plus subscription. Let's say I want to own it. It's $70 on the storefront, right? Here it is on
what's that game go for on eBay right now?
I mean, I'm looking at Walmart brand new for Demon's Souls, $25.
Yeah, Demon's Souls PS5. Let's see eBay. Used copies, 22, $6 shipping, 28 free shipping. I mean, it's not even this is, I think, pricey for how old the game is, but
good game though. But you see what I mean? Yeah. That was $70 digital, and like the idea being, we can play around with when we get the game based on sales and everything else. And it's like, wow, you remove that option. You can't have Target, Best Buy, and Walmart and GameStop fighting it out in November with holiday sales, you know?
I mean, it's a tale as old as the time of this topic, which is you could price check so many games right now on the PlayStation Store, look them up on the secondhand market. More often than not, unless there's a very aggressive sale going on for the PS Store, you're gonna find it cheaper physically. A lot of these games, I've found PlayStation 4 games that were like from the first 1 to 2 years of like after the console came out. I think like the earliest Call of Duties are still sitting on there at like 60. Like I think Ghost is like still 60 on the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
That's got to be like a $10 disc now or something. And that's like,
You look over that. Did you look over the PS? When was the last time you were on the PS3 store or the Vita store? I actually fired it up. The
those
Vita
are full price.
Yeah, I checked it last night. Let me go through the Vita. It's kind of broken, by the way, the Vita store, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And like the search bar is all jacked up. But I'm going through. I'm like, man, some of these games are $35. What in the world?
Oh, yeah, like Golden Abyss is still 50, I think.
Yeah,
just straight up.
What is this? What's going on here?
Although, in fairness, the Vita is maybe not a great barometer because the Vita games physically are also expensive as hell.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's like an old system that not many people buy from. You feel like it, and the store shutting down. It's like, man, just make all the games $5. Who cares?
I think the issue there is like they have to like actually coordinate that with all the publishers.
So for the entire Sony, make all their games. But hey, you know what? These games are just $5. Whatever. If you have a Vita, go for it. They're probably talking to like 12 people, but it's like, come on, like just make it 5. We would need to have the memory card too. I mean, to save that game, it's very expensive.
You can get Golden Abyss for $30.
Say
$30-$40. Even that's a little bit cheaper.
And
yeah, I mean, look, there's just so many other novelties to physical media, right? Like the thing I always advocate for, like really, like a really important thing is like the selling nature, selling it back. I get that most people like hear that and think, oh, it's too much work. You know, I don't want to list on eBay, do Facebook Marketplace because people are annoying. I get like the idea of when you have to liquidate it, or, you know, the GameStop memes were a thing for the longest time. Oh, we'll give you like $3 for it. You know what? It was fucking something. And with how expensive things are nowadays, I mean, I'd be hard pressed to say that getting any extra money out of the things you buy isn't worth it. It most certainly is. I'm half joking about this when I say this, but I'm so serious when I say, like, I'm not taking all this shit to the grave with me. Like, you know, if this was digital, then the money's gone. It's gone forever. There's a day where I just don't want this stuff anymore. And when I get rid of it, even if I do it for 50% value, because let's say I just want to get rid of it, that's tens of thousands of dollars. That's such an important consumer right. I mean, didn't Sean liquidate his for like 40,000 or something? $40,000 but think about that. If you're somebody that loves video games, if you love this hobby, I always advocate for that consumer right of selling the fucking thing. Like these are mortgage payments, these are vacations. This is like, you know, a lot of what we buy nowadays, you should hold on to, take care of it, and then when you're done with it, sell it. You know, it makes life easier for you, and to relinquish that control to multi-billion-dollar companies, it never sat right with me.
Yeah, I actually think back to like core memories of letting like friends, we borrow games from each other and stuff, that kind of thing too. You know, the idea of, oh, it's pretty easy to do. Now, the other thing that Sony probably should implement, because there's a lot of stuff they got to figure out, is lending digital games. Like Nintendo actually did that with the Switch 1 and 2. You have to be close to the person and they have to be on your family plan. But I've actually lent games around the house pretty easily with that, and it works decently well. I can hit a button and take the game right back too. So they did a pretty good job with that. That's something Sony needs to figure out. And then the other thing, you know what, the big thing I think they really need to figure out, dude, their return policy for digital games. It's bad. It's really bad.
It's 14 days, and if you download it, you can't get one.
But what's the first thing that happens when you buy a game? What you want to download?
Muscle memory.
Yes,
muscle memory. Download it.
You press that cross button, and you download the game. It's over. That's it. You got to call them, and they make you feel like you're the bad guy. They're like, "We'll do it. I'll get my manager, and then the manager's there, but it's really the same person again. They just kind of change their voice a little bit, and they and they're like, "Fine, we'll do it for you this time. Just try to be careful and not just go crazy hitting accept when you buy something." It's like, okay, sorry.
Everybody, even though they can easily track that you've launched the game or not, like no, the refund policy breaks downloading it.
Right.
Downloading it.
That's crazy. It's really just downloading it. That's it. I mean, I get some people would play it for an hour and be like, I don't want this anymore. But honestly, some games, take forever to play through anyway. It's like, okay, they played it for an hour or whatever. I mean, Steam has the 2-hour window. I understand that. And that I think came from, they were getting kind of pressured. I feel like in Europe maybe. And they just went, you know what, 2 hours, it'll auto refund, whatever. And that's it. And it's worked well for them. It's actually made people really like Steam because of that, so there is that customer feedback and that customer confidence in that, okay, you know what, I will buy this because if it's really bad or it's broken or it's some terrible trophy game or AI game, whatever, I can refund it. It's not a huge deal. I don't have to deal with someone on the phone who makes me feel bad for wanting my money back on this.
I do want to also point out, John, so I'm sure you saw this too. Curious what you think. Over on Stephen Totillo's newsletter Game File, the senior games research analyst at Ampere Analysis, Piers Harding Rolls, they gave like a statement on, what they think about the whole situation. They think this pretty much guarantees that PS6 won't arrive until 2028 now. Did this read to you as next gen's delayed kind of thing? Or like, what do you think?
No, because Grand Theft Auto is going to do this exact thing, basically. That's happening at the end of this year. So they're going to have it be digital or it's just code in a box. And I feel like that's just going to be a very early version of what Sony's going to put on store shelves anyway, starting in 2028. And the other thing, this is going to apply to PS5. Like beginning of 2028, the PS5 is not going to end. We assume this is going to be an extended cross-gen. The cross-gen period where the PS5 is consistently showing up as a logo at the end of these games, it might be a whole console cycle on its own. It might be 6 years, 5 or 6 years, just that. So this is going to apply to our current system now with the the PS5 that we have. And so there's going to be done, setting up PS5 discs. I don't think this really has anything to do with when the PS6 is launching, in the sense that if the PS6 comes out holiday 2027, they've already told us their intentions of like, this is a digital system. But we're not going to make, there is not going to be a PlayStation 6 disc. There's not going to be a PlayStation 6 box art. PS5 retroactively, this will work towards, but I see this as them just preparing for next generation. This is technically, to me, this is like the first big announcement for next gen, is that it's going to be a digitally focused console. And then in January, I'm sure we'll see the logo for the PS6. They'll flip the 5 to a 6. Everyone will celebrate, and well, maybe not as much now. And then we'll head towards holiday 27.
Right. Man, there's just like so many things I've been thinking about lately too. It's like, so Wolverine, Insomniac was like, oh yeah, that's getting a disc because of the GTA 6 thing.
What was that? They were serious. Yeah, they were serious. They're like, no. There's a disc with this one. And Sony was like, you sure about that?
But here's the thing, right? So that's getting a disc, assuming everything like releases on time or in time, like Lao Fei should be soon. That'll be a disc. If Intergalactic isn't like that far away,
Intergalactic?
if John, if.
Oh,
as an example,
I know what you're about to...
Like these games get discs, but then their PlayStation 6 versions don't. And then you have a disc. How do you, if there's no drive, if if there's no, you can't get your PS6 version, you can't get a free upgrade, or or you get the PS5 versions in particular because you want to own the fucking thing, and you can't get a PS6 version.
About that God of War trilogy.
Well, God of War trilogy is etched out.
That hurts, man. Come on.
No disc. Like, how do you release classic God of War games remade and you don't put them on a disc?
Kratos would be disgusted. That's crazy. You're not gonna put that on a disc though? A
I mean,
collection like that? Come on.
do you remember? I mean, it was only a few years ago. It was from the Insomniac breach, but we saw data from PlayStation Studio Games. This was leaked. It was confidential information that it only, I think it was 2023, 2022. Some of those PS Studio games had a very high physical ratio. Dude, some of them were like 30 to 40% physical. And that was only a few years ago. Now I know things move fast. Things change fast. I would venture a guess and say Wolverine will be more digital than the Spider-Mans were. But like surely, like we're talking about a decent sales volume physically, and you're telling me the first party games aren't going to get discs anymore by 2028. It's too soon. It's too soon.
It is too soon. Absolutely. Because I mean, look, if they went to PS7 for making this move and we're in what 2034, a lot of us who are complaining now would probably be too tired around that time of the day because we'd be like coming up on the good old 50s. They're like, oh gosh, they put this out in the afternoon. Nap. Now, I think by then, even like with how much the world's changed, it's crazy to think that people like look at the PS5 and they think it just started. It's like, I mean, it's about to be 6 years old. And 2020, especially now, if you really consider what was happening around that time, feels like a different world, a different lifetime almost. And then you go back, even think about the Switch that is going to be 10 years old in 27. So it's 9 years old now. That was pre-pandemic, when that came out. So you kind of think of these things. You're like, okay, 10 years from now, will people be more accepting of the idea of a digital world? Probably. I mean, just the way it's trending, and the way it goes, and the newer generation that, by the way, the newer generation really doesn't seem to care much about discs or cartridges or anything. Like, I'm talking about the younger generation that's all about the Fortnites and the Robloxes. They don't have that anyway. So it really would come down to what the newer, younger generation who would be like 18 to 24 by then,
Right. But this was my problem, is that we didn't get a chance to find the bottom.
Right.
There's a world where it went back up, like spending on physical media. And then you found the bottom, and then you can then start tracking it from there and see just how boutique is this really? How niche is this hobby really? This side of the hobby, rather. It sucks that we won't even get an opportunity to see that.
Zeron says, the news broke me. I haven't played anything since, but I'm regaining my will slowly.
My will.
Yeah, my will. So they're dancing on the grave of their goodwill now.
Yeah, I used all of it. If they had any left, I don't think so.
I kind of feel people are still riding with Sony. I don't know, man. This one did some damage. I gotta be real. I'm looking around like, wow, there's some people that I thought would be with PlayStation throughout most stuff. This one did a number. It did a number on the internet.
I mean, there's way more people online now versus like 2006, but living through the PlayStation 3 generation, yeah, it's way worse right now. It's like way worse.
Yeah, because that was sticker shock. Like, they showed a system that sounded awesome. They're like, look how cool all this stuff is. And then they're like, it's $600. And I was like, whoa, that is quite expensive. And then they said something about getting a second job. And it's like, huh, what do you say? It was like that. But that was more sticker shock. And it was like, hey, we're going to give you something really cool, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. Here, it's like, hey, we're taking away one of your consumer options.
Yeah, but John, PS3 got clowned down for a lot of things.
No, it did. It did.
Yeah,
it did. It did. But now Sony could potentially announce a system that is in line with the PS3 inflation, with the inflation calculators out there. And then they take away the physical games too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same price in terms of inflation, and it doesn't have Blu-ray. Remember, that was a big deal too. Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
They put the logo up there.
It's huge.
Blu-ray.
Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Man. Philip says, hi from Greece. I've 500 plus games physical. I'm so sad. Wow, that's a collection. 500. Okay, let's go. Is that like spanning PS1 to 5? Or are you thinking like, is this like PS4 and PS5? That's a lot of PS4 and PS5 games.
How many games do I have? I think I'm over 1,000.
Okay,
now.
okay.
Thanks, so. Check the CLZ app. Oh, I got to log in. Never mind.
Yes says Polygon Man and Marvel Tokon.
Yeah, I wrote it down in the news. Yeah. Did you see that, John?
Hit me with the characters, Ryan. Go ahead.
Hit you with, well, I'm saying, did you see that he's in it though?
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like a few frames from
Radic like tweeted about it or whatever.
Yeah, Deadpool has like a move, and there's like a few frames where he just like throws out Polygon Man and says random bullshit.
Mob says, someone hold me and say this is a bad dream. Well, Zeron says, I'll say this. It was too soon. They should make bans, not remove libraries, reassure us on security, and give us digital benefits like manuals and themes. Then you naturally transition people for PS7. Yeah, this felt like the Band-Aid rip, but like the skin was stuck and they're like, nah, get that off there. They weren't like, oh, maybe we'll get some warm water and like try to ease it. No, they just ripped away. Oh man, people were not ready for that. Varang says
1,300 games.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Frank says F the PS6, F Sony. I will always buy physical, and PC. Steam will be the only all digital platform I support. Sony can suck my hot dog. Y'all think the EU can make Sony change like with Apple / Nintendo? I assume Nintendo, because of the they're doing removable batteries.
Yeah, I don't think any regulation can like force them to like stay in a segment of the business that they want to wind down.
What government can I saw somebody, not in the US, it was somewhere else in the world, commented on this. Who was that?
Oh yeah, you don't remember?
I gotta look at that. It was somebody running for office or something. I guess they got asked by this. You know what? If you're out there, Gene, if you're out in DC and you're doing any kind of interview, just ask him out of the blue. Don't even give him context. Be like, what do you think about because you'll find out who is really plugged in then, because they're going to go into it. Then like, let me tell you about the get rid of physical games. Right. Ask him, Gene. Ask him. Could be a good soundbite. Here we go. Bobo says, got my copy of Rhythm Heaven today and was shocked that the game had no day one patch. I put the cartridge in and just played. Can't remember the last time a physical game did that. Long live physical.
It's a shame it's so uncommon nowadays.
Right.
There's a few, I mean, it's documented on doesntplay.org, but there's a few PlayStation games that do still to this day, like the Goldmaster that's on the disc. That's all you need. You're good to go.
Street Shadow with a 50 saying, so I want to be rational. First, we know there is a more digital trend. One thing that is missing, Ryan highlighted it, there is a major reduction in the Blu-ray drive and disc manufacturing in and out of Sony. Lots of factories closing.
Yeah, this was always a concern for a little bit too. I mean, I think we touched on it maybe like a year ago or something, John, but it was like the actual manufacturing of disc drives and the discs themselves. Like there has to be something there that still supports that in the first place. And games were kind of, between games and movie, like there needs to be volume there for that stuff to keep going. And there's less and less Blu-ray manufacturers now too. I mean,
I will say this: I have been having a harder time finding games physically on PS5. I've noticed this. So and it's mostly in store, because the idea is, I'll go out and I'll pick it up. So Adventures of Elliot, that is a game that I am using right now as like my test, because I cannot find this game physically in any store right now. And I've gone to multiple. I've gone to GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, nothing. Can't find the game. Right. So I'm like, okay, did Square just not print many of these things, or didn't? And I asked them, they're like, yeah, we got 2 in and we had 4 pre-orders, so we're still waiting. I'm like, really? That's weird. But this GameStop, it seems to happen pretty frequently with some of these releases, I've noticed. So I'm not sure if even retailers aren't ordering I assume they're not ordering as much. But that was one that I'm just like, you know what? I could order online, or of course I could buy it digitally. But I'm like, no, this is one I want to find in store. It's like it's.
You want to just like see it?
Yeah, I'm being like what's the word? Stubborn about it now.
Okay.
I'm like I need to see. It needs to be there in person. Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna cheap out and just go. We're cheating. Go find it somewhere like online. Peach Wright says, have you read that the digital physical ratio is purposefully incorrect incorrectly calculated. Insomniac Leak stats compares only physical printed games and calculations that puts the split closer to 40-60. I saw that. I saw a few. This is why it's still so weird. Sony has these numbers. I saw some of those first party Sony games. Dude, it was more physical than digital.
Right. Yeah. The ratio, what's important to remember is that ratio was for PlayStation published games. That ratio is not true for all games, though.
No.
That's why the numbers are kind of hard to always talk about. Like we say 80%, because that's just the number Sony gives us publicly. But that includes everything they sell in the PlayStation Store and then what's available at retail. That alone is skewed. But you can always like get deeper into like certain reports from Matt Piscatella, Christopher Drang, that, you know, when they release stuff from the GFK, the GSD, and you'll see like certain things lean physical, certain things lean more digital. It's just in the case of PS Studio games from that leak, we did see that their games were leaning very physically.
And he says, I'm primarily digital now, and I'm going to miss Uncharted and The Last of Us when I don't buy a digital-only PS6.
Wow, that's a strong stance, even being primarily digital.
I've thought about this. I'm telling you, Ryan, I've been thinking about this with the enthusiast angle for Sony trying to get people to the PS6, unless they pull off a miracle and this thing's $500 or $600 at launch. And I don't think anyone's expecting that right now.
Mm-hmm.
All they've done has been like, hey, if you like physical, stay with your PS5 right now. I don't
even
it's gonna be so
then,
hard
when new games come out, you can't buy them.
But I'm saying it's gonna be so hard to pull people away from the PS5 as it is, because it's like, it's the solid state's faster. It's like, well, this one's already pretty quick. Like getting around doesn't take that long. Oh, it's more 4K. It's like, I mean, that's cool, I guess. So it's just they have to have obviously some kind of massive jump for the PS6 that's going to get people going, oh, well, I need this, even for maybe $900 to $1,000. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to be visuals that do it anymore. I feel like people are pretty content with the PS5 still. And it's like, oh, yeah, and also there's no physical media on this thing.
Well, as I like to say, the onus is on them to make PlayStation 6 compelling. When you're asking it, I'm asking it too, and everyone here is asking it. It feels too soon. Why would I want one? Well, it's their job to make it sound really cool and worth it, especially with how much it might cost. So I don't know, especially if it's not going to play PS6 printed games. But if they want to come out and control messaging, and by the time they show this thing off, they're like, and yes, we've got a SKU for discs. It'll play 4 and 5 games, or we've got this program to digitize. Like, it's on them. They have to, control their own messaging.
Fallout 4 says, I'm getting married in a few months and was wondering if you have any good tips for a newlywed couple.
Well, John, you're married. You surely you've got some words of wisdom here.
Yeah, my words of wisdom would be have a blast. Like, don't skimp out on your honeymoon. Like, go have a blast on your honeymoon, because you get one of them. And because you're talking about like newlyweds, being newly married soon, just go have a ton of fun, and don't be like, don't go broke doing it, right? But like, have a lot of fun. Don't skip out on your honeymoon, and go on a really fun vacation with your new wife, husband, partner, whoever.
Words of wisdom from John here.
Trust me, you get one honeymoon, and you'll remember it. You will. I still remember mine. So,
where'd you go, John?
Orlando.
Okay.
Orlando. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time. Radix says the PS3 store shutting down is my personal 9/11. Radix, shout out, because they Radic from Too Many Games. A lot of fun hanging out. Ryan, you got to come back. You got to come by next year.
Oh, for sure.
Everyone was missing you there, but I told Radic, and he will say this. We were talking about it. The idea of that we were talking about the Vita and the PS3 store shutting down soon. He even said, I think it is going to be this year, or like they're going to mention it this year. I was like, yeah, probably. I said, as soon as they do that, do a tour of the PS3 store and put it on your channel, right? That's the move. He did it. Instant success on the video.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations to Radic. Shout out to Radic. Yes,
that's good.
It did very, very well so far. Like, it's got room to run, obviously, because it's officially shutting down next year. So people will still be looking for, I wonder what the PS3 store looked like. And that's a pretty up-to-date version of it right now. So
Yeah, well, fucking hasn't changed in like years. I think the only thing that has been documented now is that every time you go on there, more things are missing. You can still search for things manually, but like for
Right.
some reason, categories get smaller and smaller. I don't know why it does that.
I think there are classic games that just disappear, right? That's not just me, is it?
Yeah, yeah. They're I forget the number, but like if you go there now, it says like 50 or 40 or something
I
weird, something really low. But if you search
Yes.
for what you want, if you search for it's there. It's
Okay.
like not gone.
Okay. Interesting.
It's
Interesting. I wonder
weird.
what that is. Huh. The Street Shadow says, I think Sony did say they are going to offer codes to retailers. So there seems we will have a third party option. And that, okay. So I get what you're saying there, but there would still be no used games. And I think that's one of the big hangups right now is the idea of, because it's going to be a one-time use code. So there will be at least be retail presence. And I think Sony is banking on the idea of retail presence will be viewed the same way if it's a disc or if it's a code. And
Mhm.
I personally don't view it the same way.
Right.
Rubber Yen says Sony pulling out of PC makes sense now.
Not sure if it fully aligns with the PC thing, but they've been making some decisions lately, that's for sure.
Some decisions.
Yeah.
Victor says F Sony. That's all I want to say. I need Sega to come back with the Dreamcast too.
With
I'm telling you,
discs.
man. Sony, dude,
Discs.
people are after Sony, right? I'm telling you, man. This is something else. This is
Right. Hey, rightfully so. Rightfully so.
oh, what you call? Oh yeah, tomorrow's gonna be interesting, right? Isn't tomorrow? Let's talk PlayStation. That
Oh
thing's
yeah.
like 2 hours long, isn't it?
I, I might have to cut some shit. I ramble, you know. You
No,
already
they
know.
tell them leave it in. There's
I,
like a sermon in there and everything about physical games.
sermon.
I'm
That's
telling you,
crazy.
man. Ryan's
That's
going
nuts.
crazy in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. This is from Panda. It says, aren't they selling PS5s at a loss in Japan in order to gain more appeal there again? Last I remember, that country has been one of the more passionate when it comes to physical media. I mean, we get physical sales charts every week from Japan, and yeah, they still buy physical games there. Yep.
They do sell that jet as part of the recent Famitsu interview. He didn't outright say it, but he's like, yeah, we've, the model is we we sustain it for that market in particular because that language only model is still $340 USD technically, which is
Yeah.
pretty incredible when you think about the non-Japanese models that they still sell there. They technically sell 4 consoles, so Japan only, and then digital edition, disc, and then pro.
It's cheaper than the Switch 2, actually, there for the PS5.
Yeah.
Petroid says, to piggyback my legislation super chat, if it was set to a specific sales requirement, therefore only targeting AA and up dev studios, I think it's possible. I just don't know if it's likely necessarily, but we'll take anything we can get to try to get the physical games rolling again. So
I think the minimum order quantity for PlayStation's like 1,000.
yeah.
I think.
Okay. So maybe okay. Kyle says, unfortunately, my hot take, I actually think despite the PR disaster, Sony is actually be fine in the end, and eventually they'll just recover from it. Sad face. We need to know more about the PS6 to really be able to, and specifically how much it's going to cost. We're trying to figure out the exact features. I will tell you this. I had already so I will say we think they're going to have a handheld and a system, right? The PS6 and the handheld. I was always more interested in the handheld, which we've discussed here. And I had already come to terms with the idea that, hey, I'm not going to be able to put this Blu-ray disc in the handheld. Like I kind of already understood that was going to be a digital system. So with that in mind, I've already kind of resigned to the idea of a handheld is already in that all digital future setup. But the system is the one that I think is throwing me and everyone else off. So,
right. No, I mean, much like you said, John, that was the sort of what I was doing too. I've resigned myself to the idea of, well, I'm probably not using my discs on this thing. But I think what happens now, right? Like I love physical media, obviously, but it's not like I don't have digital games, but I just get them when either they're extremely cheap, and I mean really, really, really cheap, or
right.
I almost never have to do that anyway, because I mean, if you are a member of Extra and Premium, And waiting usually pays off for that. The games go on there. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the amount of times I bought a physical game and didn't play it, and then it showed up on PlayStation Plus. It's not isolated to these two hands here. Like, it's happened more than 10 times easily. So I kind of figured that would happen for the portable and even PS6.
Astrolock says, I thought going all digital was inevitable, and I thought I was okay with it, but I thought about what if Konami remade Metal Gear Solid 1 for next gen, and it made me sad that it wouldn't be on my display shelf. I'm telling you, that's a big thing for people, is the idea of kind of the fondness of a franchise and wanting it to be represented in physical form on your shelf. That is the legit thing. You know what I mean? That's like, if we ever get to the point where there's a new Mega Man X and Capcom does all the cool artwork and sets it up, I would want that physically. And it seems like at that point I'd probably have to get it on the Switch too, and it'll be a game key card because they hate me. But it'll be that's probably the only option. Like, at this point, I'm like, man, I just need it on a box at this point. I need a box art for the thing.
Final Fantasy VII Revelation.
No, that's coming. No, we're good. That's coming out next year. We're good.
You think so? You think that's in
next year?
Time?
Yeah. It's next year.
Okay.
I'll tweet the director to make sure.
What makes me nervous though too is like, when if the cutoff's January 28th, don't you think like some publishers would be like, that's well within the time, but we're just not going to do it at that point. Like,
yeah. You mean like holiday 27? Some are like, whatever.
I could see it like at that point. I would think it would significantly slow down even before the deadline. Well,
there's also the idea that, so let's say you're holiday 27 bound for your release and it's coming out in November. Are you going to get another print? Like, you're going to sell through your holiday and then they're done January 28th. Are you going to get another print?
Exactly. It'd be one print.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Mega Man's in 27, though. We're good. We're okay. Okay. Let's see. This is from Zeron. Enter John's all digital future trademark. I should have trademarked that thing. Walrus says, it's bad when that's the thumbnail.
What's the thumbnail, John? What'd you use?
No, for you, where the hood's on fire and you're like, oh gosh, no.
Oh, I always thought it was the Click R3 thumbnail.
Oh no, if that's the case, then yes. All it is it's literally the white PlayStation logo and the black background that they put up there. And it looks like it's
scary
like
too.
It's the funeral.
Yeah, I see that in my nightmares.
I'm telling you. Oh. I'm just gonna say Pakistani American says,
wait, hold on, John, hold on. What do you mean?
I'm sure Sony has plans to release separate disk drive or a similar PS5 Pro approach, so gamers can access PS4 or PS5 backwards compatible if implemented. Yeah, I think they'll do some. I think they'll do some significant. Like, people will make some serious choices if there's no disk drive on that thing, just detachable. I think people might actually go, I think I'm good with the PS5, because if you have that number of games, there's a ton you haven't played yet that are just right there, and you're like, I think I'm good. I think so.
Yep.
So yeah. Cyborg says, Ryan, where are you on GTA 6? Will you wait for disc? Oh yeah, that's actually a good question. Has this affected your view of it? Because I feel like you were gonna get GTA 6 anyway. Like, you kind of have to. Like, you're kind of stuck. You're the GTA person there.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just jump to that and cover this in a prompt time here based on that super chat. Thank you, Cyborg. The pre-orders are live. The game is $80 USD. It's $100 for that Ultimate Edition. And there's no disc. It's a code in the box.
No, man. Dude, Ryan is just like blow after blow after blow. It's the Tesla thing. It's the GTA 6 thing. It's the PS6 thing now. Man.
It's funny too. Last Click R3, you and me, it was the last one, right? Where we were talking about GTA box art and how they put gold foiling and extra embossed foiling on the games. And these motherfuckers aren't putting it on a disc.
And this is the last chance to do it. They're really at 0 hour.
Well, let me walk you through what happened with me, right? So this news came out and I was like, no fucking way. Are you shitting me? Then I look at how they're doing it, right? And it's like, oh, code in a box. Did you know they're shipping that code in a box on the 12th, not the 19th?
Yeah, they're doing a week early so people can preload it.
That is so, like, nobody's done that before. That is so specific on them, like, catering to the audience of, like, we want everybody to play this. Like, it unlocks preloads, doesn't matter how you want to buy it. But that's such a specific thing that I thought, okay, this game's, it's the magnitude of it is just too big, right? There's way too much upside on the retail side of people buying and selling copies early, somebody installing a gold master early. Like, they're just, Rockstar is kind of similar to like a Crimson Desert thing. They kind of want to control day one. So that didn't really, I mean, it was shocking, but I sat there and I thought, they'll make a disc. I just don't know when. Then there was the PPE report. Apparently it would be like a month later or something. Yeah, it turned out that was wrong because there was a Hollywood Reporter report about how, based on a source close to Rockstar's plans, they claim there's no plans for GTA 6 to get a disc print, not at launch and not months after. Now, I saw that news and I thought, that's fine. A month would have been really soon. This game will be relevant for 10 fucking years. It will get a disc. Now we're working with a window where I really don't know. I mean, you would think, but I don't know. I mean, at that point, would Rockstar do it? Because then here's the thing, if they do it, they'd only be able to do how many reprints? The game's going to sell gangbusters. So, like, how many reprints are they going to buy? It's too soon. January 28 is too soon.
It's too soon. You know what? I do wonder. You keep saying it's too soon. Sony's kind of showed their hand. I wonder if they could go, you know what?
Another year.
2030.
Ah, geez.
2030. Maybe. Can they do that? Can they go a couple? Because you're right. There are some games where I'm like, man, that's going to be right there. And GTA 6 would be one where if they're trying to avoid leaks, which, okay, it's this massive property. I can't even imagine the accounting books that are attached to this game of billions of dollars and trying to figure everything out and connect the dots. Okay, fine. They don't want it to leak. But the thought process was eventually they could make a disc. That's not happening now because they're just, I assume, right at the end of 2027 or right at this point, right at the end of 2026, they would have another year, but they're not going to start up right at the beginning. They're going to probably go a few months in. And then what? How long is it going to take them to make 10 million discs at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the rest of the time that to get in line and get everything set up, and probably the rest of that time the factory's even around. So
it's just a shame because I really, like, I wasn't worried. I'm like, this game's just going to be relevant for too long. And Rockstar does like having a retail presence. Like, again, our last conversation was they put Red Dead 2 on 2 discs.
They did.
Like, they do, like, that's not that old. I mean, it's far away, I guess, but I don't know. Obviously, these things change much faster than we're thinking. But I would have thought, like, it'll get a disc. I just have to make that compromise on, am I paying $80 to play this game day one? And now I think I'm going to have to, I don't think I'm going to have a choice if I want to play it day one.
No, I mean, it's just going to be a digital game from now on for GTA 6. Unfortunate. I was a little surprised they didn't have a like a $200 some odd collector's edition.
Yeah, well, am I tripping? It seems like every publisher is just kind of skipping that big box now. That, like, big, goofy, comes with a bunch of goodies thing, like.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like you could have thrown something in there for a $250 price tag that people would have gone crazy buying. I don't really know what the deal is there. I'm not sure. Materials, or I mean, who knows? The world's all messed up right now. I guess it could be something as simple as we couldn't get the plastic.
Well, that $100 edition is also pretty goofy because it's literally just a bunch of not just cosmetics, but also, like, shops in the game.
The store is closed. Do you have the Ultimate Edition, sir?
Yeah.
Move along. Move along if you don't.
A tattoo shop, a hair salon, a clothing store, a gun compound, bunch of cars, bunch of guns. Like, are we not, like, becoming what we were making fun of 10 years ago? Like, GTA used to make fun of this shit.
That's gonna be crazy when you walk up to the store in your offline game and it just calls you poor and tell you to keep it moving.
Yeah. Where's my $20, Buster?
Yeah. And apparently there's a path to upgrade. And there's gonna be some people who are like, fine, whatever, I'll just upgrade for $20. But it is it's weird because it's already 80. That's already expensive.
It's already expensive, but we've had the $80 talk left and right. We were both like, it's not surprising if it's 80 because this game's just so big. But It's interesting. They haven't said anything about GTA Online. Do you think they're trying to sell that too?
Man, if they
Do you think they're trying? Because Red Dead, they would like it. They were, oh yeah, it's coming, and it took like 6 months, but they would say like Red Dead Online's coming.
they separate GTA Online like from GTA 5. You can buy just GTA Online. So maybe, but then that means this game is probably like $120 all in. You know, I assume the online would be like 20 or maybe $30 if they did that. That's craziness because people are already looking at this game now as $100 game.
Yeah.
Tack on the $30 multiplayer. Is this a $130 game? Man.
Well, besides that, I will say, at least for it's a PlayStation show, PlayStation does have marketing rights, and goddamn, are they using it?
Yeah, my the PlayStation app is the GTA 6 colors on my phone. I noticed that.
I don't think I've ever seen the PlayStation app icon change for anything. There's a 6 animation on the landing screen of PlayStation 5, which is obscene because they've never done that for any of their own games. That's like, I get it. Like almost everyone's going to buy it. You're putting an advertisement on the console's landing page. I don't like that. It says plays best on PS5. I mean, they're good Lord. Both these companies are going to make a shitload of money.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the business, I guess. I love how they always figure out all these cool custom things for apps or the landing pages or your dashboard when it has nothing to do with themes. It's like, actually, you know what? We can do some really cool stuff, just not for themes or anything like that. Customizing it. Like Radic was posting again about all the themes that he has on the PS3. I'm like, man, there really was a lot of personality back then for these systems.
PS4 had it too. The thing about PS3 was Sony had a software you could make your own.
Yeah.
And that's why there's like such a huge, like, you can still go and download custom ones. You can download naughty ones, weed themed ones, like whatever you want to do. You can change the icons however you want.
A lot of PS3 smelled like weed when they came into the repair store. I get it.
Yeah. I bet if you booted them up, they have like a custom weed theme on them.
That happened a lot, actually.
Yeah. Same with the PSP. They let you do that, you know?
Man.
If anybody still has a PlayStation 3, fire that bad boy up, go to the PlayStation store, make sure your wallet is topped up with at least a few dollars, and buy yourselves the Corn Love XMB theme, which is literally just a corn on the cob rotating with flames coming up towards it.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Corn Love.
Man.
That's a little PSX going to give it to you.
Toasty says, this is it. This is the moment Ryan goes full Joker.
Yeah, you want to know how I got these scars?
Wrestling Geek says, Ryan, what's the oldest game in your collection?
The oldest game in my collection? I don't know. I don't know if I can sort by year on this app, but I'll do that for you.
Is it well, no, I guess it would be I was going to say Game Boy game, but it might be a PS1 game.
It might be a Game Boy game because I'm very particular about the platforms I collect for. So, yeah, it might be a Game Boy game. I mean, I think I've got I don't know. I'd have to check.
You have cartridges from like Super Nintendo, anything like that? Sega, the Genesis?
That's what I'm saying. Like I might have one or two like lying around, but they're not like in the collection necessarily.
Right.
But like I'm looking at Game Boy, like I've got, obviously the Pokemon games, yeah. Super Mario Land, Kirby's Dream Land.
Oh, it might be Super Mario Land.
It might be that. I mean, I've got Super Nintendo Vegas Stakes down there. I have to check the years. I don't go too far back is the thing. I'm very particular.
Bespoke says, Ryan, that would mean always online.
Do we remember what we were talking about when Bespoke sent this?
Probably for just digital PlayStation 6 systems, I assume.
Better not be an online requirement. A check-in, sure, but
my name, as Lewis says, no refunds on downloads, variable pricing, etc. Yeah. Daniel says every PlayStation 5 physical game disc contains a specific matrix code or mastering code physically etched into its innermost ring. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what I was asking. As if there's a way to facilitate a similar program to what Xbox is testing, again, I hate that we have to have this conversation, but well, that would certainly be a compromise I would accept in the here and now.
I mean, I'll take it now though, because like the idea of that digitizing a collection, because that means I just don't have to keep changing the discs out necessarily. I still have them, But that actually seems like a convenient thing. It's kind of reminds me a bit of, which is not necessarily directly compared because you still need the disc in there, when all of a sudden Microsoft flipped a switch and you could install your Xbox 360 games and it wouldn't have to go crazy reading the disc 24/7.
Right.
But I like the idea of them introducing that like now if they could, because it would be nice to just have, because you have to install the games anyway, but then it just says, okay, you do own this game, we're going to attach to your account, and you don't have to take the game off your shelf or something. You can just leave it up there.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that now. It sucks that like it's only happening because then we lose disc prints
Right.
for new game. Like, just whole thing sucks.
That should be something they should have done. Actually, now I think about a while ago, if it's all unique and like imprinted and everything. Yeah. Let's see. This is from Crypto. Says, what if they charged more for discs as compromise? I don't even think it's the cost of the disc as much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look, money does play a role.
No,
I don't know what the primary motivator is. It's probably a little bit of everything, But I mean, it's interesting. I mean, have you been paying attention to like the price differences for Switch 2 games? I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, it's not only the first party's been happening, but like even the boutique stuff. Isn't IM8-bit like charging way more? And because they like their whole shtick is no, it's on the card, but we do have to pay more for it.
Yep. So you see that for the cartridges, and then Nintendo did the thing where they broke up the digital physical price parity. So people are still trying to figure out, did they make the digital game cheaper or the physical one more expensive? And there's examples of either one, I guess. Like the fact that Star Fox is $50 digital, it's like, oh gosh, it seems pretty fair. But then you have Fire Emblem and it's $80, physical. It's like, oh, hold on a minute, it's the opposite direction. This is from Monster Matt, who says Sony is thinking about raising prices on subs now.
I do have this written down. We can cover that real quick. It's a comment from their small segment meeting. This was released on the investor portal. This took place on June 5th, but it was released on June 29th. So it was a huge Q&A. We'll be also touching on this for their comments on next gen stuff, but you're referencing the one answer about PlayStation Plus. So they were asked about future PS Plus price increases and its importance as a profitability driver. Sony said they will continue using multiple levers to improve profitability. That includes pricing, tier mix, and content acquisition efficiency, which they also revealed that the higher tiers now account for 40% of total subscribers. So, I mean, we can be upset, but it seems like people are still subscribing to those higher tiers, which is kind of nutty. But they are pretty openly saying, yeah, pricing could be a factor. Content acquisition is a big thing. They're saying the efficiency of it. That basically just says we're going to pay less for publishing partners to have the games on Plus. So it literally is just standard shitification of pay more, get less. And unfortunately, people are still on it.
I'm going to need more. I'm going to need an extra premium retro game.
I would agree.
I'm going to need that. The fact that we still scroll down and we're like, yeah, there's one.
It was 3. Now it's 1.
Yeah. The problem we run into is, as Ryan mentioned, people are subscribing to the higher tier, and it's an easy way for Sony to find millions of dollars a month, like just by turning the dial up a little bit. But I keep saying, man, you keep turning the dial up, eventually you will get to a point where the dial breaks off and people go, man, that's a little too much. Okay, for this month, I'm going to back off right now. And that's something they're testing.
Microsoft found it. The dial broke at 30.
Yes, they figured that one out. So there is at least I guess a blueprint to avoid. But how much is what's premium now? Is that $180 a year right now?
160. The 12 months didn't change. It was the 1 month, 3 month. So it should still be 160 a year.
Yeah, I assume that 200 is something they have like circled on a whiteboard. It's like, this might be too, that big 2 in the front might be the one. But yeah, I assume subscriptions will be leveraged by everyone for the most part if they can, to raise extra money rather than, well, for Sony, they have raised their systems. But think about like Nintendo with their NSO subscriptions, $50 a year. It would shock me if they went to like 60 or 70 a year to find some extra money so that they can try to keep the Switch 2 price down. Things like that, like to move it around a bit. And Sony's going to be trying to figure out ways to subsidize that PS6. I'll tell you that now. So Get ready for that one. Toasty says, as someone expecting PS6 to not be backwards compatible at all, I'm not surprised it won't accept it. Wow. If that thing is not backwards compatible, that would be insane.
It's interesting of a thought process. I don't know why you'd think that. It would be like it's scary to say guarantee around here, but I would think it's still going to play PS4 and PS5 games.
That'd be a massive gaffe by them if it does not play PS5. Bare minimum PS5, but you feel like it'd probably go back to the PS4. That would be wild if they did that.
Right.
They're just they have people entrenched in their digital library, and I still think physical as well is important for that, being entrenched there. And they want to keep you feeling like you're trapped. So if that would be one of the most counterproductive moves ever if it wasn't backwards compatible. But I've been surprised many times, and I'm sure I'll be surprised again. So stay tuned. Bespoke says, hear me out. What if PlayStation releases detachable disc drives that are shaped like mini PlayStation consoles? Collect all 5 to play 5 games at once. Boom.
I like the first part of that. You can drop the second part of that.
That would make your 30 platinums though easier
to play 5 games. Well, I mean, I've played 3 games at once before, which was god awful. Yeah, PS3, PS4, and then a Vita. Okay, it was all the same. It was all the same game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Toast says someone who likes physical but deeply hates discs. I'm conflicted to say the least. What? you like the idea of it, so you like the box art. That's
no, they didn't say the idea, but they like physical.
Lamb says, how would you guys feel about Sony letting Bungie make a Killzone game? If they did, would you want a remake or a sequel? Bungie. Well, their shooting is good.
I think if they're remaking it, you probably want Guerrilla to do it. Just give them a little side project to do or something.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, you're gonna have to assign Guerrilla people to Bungie just to oversee it. So I'm sure they could do a shooting. I'm sure they could do it. Actually, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, Bungie kind of needs a bit of a reset after what's going on with Destiny 2 and now Marathon. So I don't mind them working Bungie down to like a smaller team and saying let's regroup and get you a project that we think you can tackle. Honestly, something that already has an established franchise like Killzone, and it just needs like the skeletons of a good game with a good feel for shooting. Like that's what Bungie can do. They're the thing that no one really complains about with Destiny or even Marathon is like the overall moment to moment gameplay and the shooting. That's very good. So Bespoke says it's good to note that sure, physical still makes up 15 to 20%, but Sony would have the data that may say that 14% of those also buy dig. There will be PS6 box art, code in the box art, waka waka. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of thinking it's just going to be that darker blue, and it'll just be PS6, and that'll be it.
Well, I was thinking it's the same case, but just a different colored banner.
Yeah.
Now we can't even see that.
Toast says, just so round and smooth like eggs. I'm petty. Yo, Peep says no one was upset when Sony shut off the PS9 without the disc drive.
Oh man, Yo Peeps got us there.
That's true. That's true. It was like an orb.
Well, you crack it open and then pure ecstasy spills out of it.
Skull says people still buy physical games, and the numbers won't always reflect it because you can be buying them at garage sales, flea markets, etc.
Oh yeah,
that is true. That is true. And just the overall used market at places like GameStop.
John, you just came back from too many games. I mean, it's a whole convention of thousands of people showing up to buy and sell used games.
There are a lot of games there. A lot of games. Too many games even. But it was a good time. Yeah, there was plenty of PS5 titles too. I'll say that. PS4, PS5, they were all there. So, and there's definitely a lot of buying and selling happening. There was a ton of people there. Let's see. What am I looking at? Chasselai? Am I reading that right?
What am I looking at? Screen.
Just happening here. Chasselai says if Sony say physical back $20 more, good compromise. Okay, so you're saying if they raise the price of physical games by $20, so we'd be at $90?
Oh my god, $90. That's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, the other thing that's gonna, I think, sting is they're gonna go to digital for the PS6, and I feel like they're gonna go to $80 for games.
Oh god.
That's dude. It's just
I
gonna be Sony is really gonna test how much goodwill they've built up. They're already doing it now. They're really gonna do it soon.
That's the thing. Their games are great, but I'd be hard pressed to say they can get away with a Mario Kart World or a GTA 6, you know.
The
At some
thing
point it
is,
has to give. It has to give.
yeah. That well, I think let's say the PS6 is $1,000. That's one tick, okay. And there's no physical games for the PSX. It's another tick. And then they're like the games are $80 starting. And then there's early access, and that's $10 more. So technically it's 90 if people really want to get in. It's like it's another tick. You're right. Eventually you start adding this up and you're like, man, this is kind of lame. This is not fun. What is this? You know, you start to look around and go, what is happening here? So
Yeah.
I think Sony's gonna they're testing the market, man. I don't they don't have they have the games, right? Like when the game comes out and it's like a Sony like Naughty Dog level game or Santa Monica level, it's good. You're like, okay, I get it that they have the games at least. They don't come out with those as frequently as they used to. You know, it's taking longer. Naughty Dog still hasn't put out a new game this generation, and it's like, okay, well, the third party's kind of doing a lot of the like really like pulling them along a bit with this. Can they do this? I don't know, Ryan. I don't know.
I don't know either. And I think only two are getting away with it right now, and I don't think there's many others that can.
Yeah. Daku Gamer says between PS5, Xbox Series X, Switch 2, PC, I have over 700 digital games. Physical died a long time ago for me. I say it's about time. These are programs, always have been.
I mean, look, if it works for you, that's great. It's just a matter of the accessibility for others, which is still really important.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting to me is if you are just all digital, the physical games going away really doesn't like help you any. it actually kind of does the opposite, to be honest. It doesn't. It's what it's going to do is it's going to drive less competition for even those digital games. So,
right.
That's the thing. I see people. I understand there would be some. What's the word? Like you're really not going to care as much, obviously, if you're just all digital anyway. You're like, okay, business as usual. But I think there will be reverberating effects. We'll say physical games not being around that you'll feel on the digital side as well.
Mm-hmm.
Darthus says, does that mean my copy of Concord is worth more?
Unlikely. Although I haven't price checked Concord recently.
All right, live price check right now. Concord on the PS5, $19.99.
Oh, you know what? That's less than I paid.
Neo Arcadia says millions of consumers who truly do collect more than they actually play games. Those consumers jump ship. They absolutely don't buy a PS6. I'm telling you, there are enthusiasts that
I would say that's true of digital.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. People with Steam, people with like the Steam back catalog, yes,
Mm-hmm.
that is a thing. That is a thing.
I think people tend to see a good deal, see a good price.
Mm-hmm.
Their mentality is, oh, that's a deal. I'm saving money, and they buy it, and they might not even use it, or it's not even a games thing. Like it's like a psychology thing. That's how they get you to buy shit that you're not even going to use.
But the thing is, though, you are kind of building up that credit in that if you did want to say skip the PS6, you would have a fairly substantial entertainment backlog then to kill time with for a while. So
Sure.
my thing is I feel like Sony will move PlayStation 6 systems definitely at first, like launch and stuff. Yeah. I wonder what that sales velocity looks like when they get into let's say they launch at holiday 27, when they get into 28, into like March or April, like what's the sales velocity look like with a potential $1,000 system and everything that's like exploding around them.
Exactly.
Kyle says, I think Sony didn't realize people on digital will still want the physical because we might buy it for a game we love and a lot of us won't get PS6 for it. Also, you can't gift digital. You can't. I just realized that you can't gift PlayStation games on the store. Like right now, I just now realized as I'm reading this, I'm like, that's like kind of the gift giving thing, huh?
I don't know why they still don't have gifting. Is that not like just great for your own bottom line? Like
that's true, because if I already own the game, but I see it on sale and I'm like, this is funny. It's like $8. I'm gonna buy it and send it to this friend or whatever as like even a joke thing. It's like they just got $8 out of me, even though I already own the game. I bought the game twice. Man, I don't know. Sony got to get it together, man. What's going on around here? What happens?
What's going on?
Detroit says, why couldn't they just charge more for discs? Nintendo games never go under 40, and they've been at least trying some solutions for digital the game key card. I will admit, Sony didn't. I'll give Nintendo credit. I'm not a fan of the game key cards. People know that. There is at least some creative aspect to that, trying to solve a problem with this. Sony is not doing that. There's like, nope. That's it.
Well, that's how you know it's not strictly motivated by money. It's like it is money. Then it's the publisher control thing, the store thing, not having to submit games a month ahead of time, copies leaking, that upsets your publishing partners. I mean, there's just a lot to it.
Peter says, any recommended PS Vita or PS3 games snag before the end of service day for the storefronts? Apparently Xenogears, this is the last way to buy Xenogears.
Oh, is it?
There's no other way to buy it. I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I guess it hasn't gone to. I think that's one that people are voting for GOG with their they have their preservation service that they do where they go back and they try to make it so it's compatible with current Windows or Mac versions even, and set that up DRM free. I think people voted on it, but they haven't been able to get the licensing or whatever for it. So I would recommend that. Xenogears, that's a good one. It's probably like $8.
I would definitely just try to look up exclusives, games that are only on those systems. My other sort of broad recommendation here is that if you care for the classic games on PS4, PS5 through PS Plus Premium, where you can buy those a la carte, you can buy them on PlayStation 3 first, and you have to do it on a PS3 first because it doesn't go backwards. Buy it first on a PS3. The license grandfathers to 4 and 5, and the games are cheaper on PlayStation 3. So typically those classic games are $10 on PS4, PS5. You can buy them for $6, sometimes less on the PS3 store. You get the license on PS4, Smart. PS5. Yeah.
Smart. Okay. Good stuff. Zalthus Games says, crazy to think we will have no physical PlayStation games. We'll still have Blu-rays, DVDs, etc. Well, as Ryan mentioned, it all goes through PlayStation, so they literally flip the switch and that's it.
Yeah, nobody else is making them.
There are a couple companies making DVDs, so yeah. Daniel says, not getting PS6, cancel my PS Plus, physical only. I see that happening too. A lot of people are calling for others to cancel PlayStation Plus right now. Callan Shaw says my water heater blew up. Second worst thing today.
That's not funny, but
no, I had that happen. My water heater stopped working. It didn't blow up. It stopped working completely, and you got to drain it and rip that thing up the steps. And oh gosh, replacing a water heater is not fun.
Oh, sorry, Callan.
Yeah. Sorry, Callan. Kyle says, sad to think Final Fantasy VII Revelations will be the last disc of Final Fantasy. This is truly the end of gaming as we know it. People who compare to film is not. You will still have Blu-ray drive.
Just BD, the format or whatever.
Yeah, that is a shame, man. Sophie the Nightus says Vita store recommendations for Peter. TXK, Murasaki, Baby, Super Stardust, Delta, true exclusive, no physical options, bangers.
There you go. Perfect.
Trinity says, any chance Rockstar was given financial incentives for GTA 6 to go digital only, knowing it would be a big release to push people into the digital ecosystem? Thoughts?
Well, there's definitely there's many incentives for sure.
Rockstar is definitely getting a better cut than the typical 30%. I'll tell you that now. The Sony would do the 70-30. I would be shocked if Rockstar was above even 20%.
Wow,
it might be lower than that.
It's that much?
I think they cut it down almost. I bet you they almost cut it down by half. Like if I heard it was like some 18%, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's about right.
I would imagine that could be very much a part of the marketing agreement.
Yeah. Norfair says leopard print shirt. I bet you're doing the June Q&As after this, as I requested. Also, hopefully GTA 4 remaster gets released before January 2028.
No fair. It's recorded and uploaded. I literally just have to make the post, and you will get your answer. But you got it already.
There it is.
Now it reminded me. I'm like, yeah, dude, I should wear that. That'll be a silly thing to wear. But it's a shame because if GTA 4 does get remastered, you're telling me I can't get that on a disc?
Oh man, we need it next year. They got
it. It's not gonna happen.
Oh,
it's not gonna happen. They did do a weird thing. The definitive edition only got a PS4 print. For some, I don't know why they did that.
Interesting. Petroid says if Sony reverses course, will Rockstar follow after?
Well, I mean, if this didn't happen, I think the game was going to get a disc.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Dave says, "Man, we need some better consumer rights."
Oh, boy, you're not wrong.
Matt says, "Ryan, I wanted to know what meds and other things take for your hair. Saw one of your videos from 7 years ago, and it looks better. I'm really starting to recede."
Hey, there you go. See, it does work. I don't bullshit people when I tell you this. You can watch videos from 2018. Your boy was looking rough. He was looking rough. This was super thin right here, really thin. I only take one medication. It's called finasteride. Finasteride. It's a daily pill. It's 5 milligrams. It's very easy to get a prescription. You can do it through an online pharmacy. It's like not a hard drug or anything. You have to answer some questions to a virtual pharmacist. You get a 3-month plan for like $17, and it will make a dramatic improvement. It doesn't bring back hair, but what it does do is thicken up what you have and retains it. So for any men that are in their 20s, 30s, and you see your hair thinning, the sooner you get on it, the better.
There you go. Matt says, I can't believe PlayStation make this stupid decision before Xbox, the company that trained their customers not to buy their games.
That's what's shocking. You really would have thought this would be the Microsoft announcement before PlayStation.
I'd agree.
They softened the blow for Xbox. So damn well they're going to make the same announcement.
Akigren says, this sucks, especially in EU where physical games were cheaper and the regional pricing on digital games sucks at $90. I bought a PC on Black Friday, so I'm not in a hurry for next gen.
Well, at least in the EU, you also have those consumer protections usually.
Toasty says, rip limited run games. Yeah, it's not great.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Bespoke says, good to remember, GTA 5 had clothing, mod shop, barbers, cars, and garage locked behind the collector's edition as well. It's basically the same thing as paywall DLC.
I don't remember that as nearly as well. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember that being like a huge thing back then. But I guess that's my memory failing me.
Star Wars says, I won't buy my third-party games on PlayStation if there's no physical, just digital exclusive. That's it. I also want platinum. Love both your channels.
Thank you, Star Wars Master.
Spyro says, Spawncast Saturday. When's Ryan return to the cast? Actually, the Saturday was July 4th, so we're going to do like a pre-record. I think we're going to record it tomorrow night and just put it up on Saturday. And you guess what everyone's asking us to talk about. So it's a lot of people on the cast were fired up about it. So yes, it's probably like an hour or so recording, and it's just going to be Sean ranting and throwing a chair in his room or something. Lustrious says, third-party games like First Light and Crimson Desert, not all on disc, were already pushing me to Steam anyway. Matt says, remember, we can push back. Sony can't afford to lose PlayStation. Without them, Sony will die. That part is kind of true. I will say, like, this might be their biggest PR blunder I think I've ever seen. And they gotta really think about this one. I will say man, hold on once. Let me go. Chocobo says potentially no Kingdom Hearts 4 physical. Oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do this. Square, you got to get the game out in 2027. I think there's word that it is coming out in 2027. You can't do that to Kingdom Hearts 4 people, man. You can't do that. They've been waiting too long.
It needs a disc. When you think about all the games that still haven't come out yet, and you're like, oh shit, that's not very close to launch coming out, is it? and you think January 2028, it's not looking good.
Brang, I think are you trying to get me with something here?
Mike Hawk.
Mike?
I'll say it.
Hawk.
Mike Hawk. I'll say it fast too, just so the effect really works.
Panda says, no way that Take-Two wasn't involved with this decision after the pre-order numbers for GTA 6 and their success with other games on PlayStation. That would have been a snap decision if it had to do with pre-order numbers for GTA 6. That'd have been like immediate. Man, I don't know if it was that recent. Star Wars says the backlash is insane. Maybe there's still hope. The backlash is overwhelming is the only... let me check there real quick. Let me check to see if they got there. Because that would be, they did 101.8 million views on their update tweet. I have never seen that before. That is actually insane. You know what? Let them know online. Let them know. Go for it. let them know. They're going to come back to social media. It's going to be ugly. Like eventually they'll show up again. And it's not going to be great. And I kind of think it's something that's not going to go away anytime soon. So this is going to make, I kind of feel like it's going to make advertising anything difficult for them right now.
Well, sometimes I think about like the whole PC debacle, right? When they started shipping games on PlayStation or on PC, John, not to this day, but maybe a few months ago before all the PC single player rumors happened, the whole way through, I would still catch comments of, take your games off PC, and then that was, was that a big thing for like a lot of dedicated fans? Sure. This is like, I would argue 10 levels above that. So if I was still seeing people anecdotally complaining about their, PlayStation putting their games on PC, I would think I'm going to be seeing people complain about physical games for the foreseeable future.
Bespoke, I know that one. Okay. Thanks, Bespoke.
Mike Hunt.
Oh, man. Tree says, hey, guys, PlayStation Indie Dev here. I'm a really small fish. Don't know much. Can't say much. But from what I've seen, I think there's room to turn the ship around. Don't need to let off the gas. Ryan, you got to re-record Let's Talk PlayStation. I don't know how long it is right now.
Re-record
it's got to be, however long it is right now, it's got to be that. But you got to rile up the troops, okay? You got to get them ready to go.
Rile up the troops, set up. He says. Well, I mean,
you're the leader of physical media, Ryan.
No, I do not appoint me the leader of anything. No,
come on. I've never seen someone be so resistant to digital games ever in my life.
But here's the thing, right?
This is your moment.
No, but it was never a resistance. I mean, look, I've also famously said, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but I've always said that like when this happens, and I just thought it was PS7. When this happens, it like my hobby doesn't die. Like okay, I'm going in kicking and screaming. I've never been that opposed to it. I just prefer the consumer right and advocacy of discs. So, it's I'm not a leader. I don't need to be appointed here. But it's interesting. I think there is so much pushback that I'd love to believe that there is a way for them to maybe seriously reconsider.
Yeah, I don't think it's going away. I think the fact that it's on CNN and that like these big dude, if there's a segment for this on Late Show or whatever, like any of that stuff, it's I don't know. This is gone completely mainstream. It's what's the phrase broken containment at this point? It's not just in the gaming sphere anymore. Toasty Tile says, can't wait for PS6 to come out. I want to see you two hit the mean streets of Best Buy.
Is that what we're planning on doing?
I guess. We don't even know what the PS6 looks like at this point. Like, we don't know anything about it, real. I mean, we know digital, but we don't really know much else necessarily. We were talking about just trying to figure out what the box art looks like of the thing.
Well, listen, let's try and catch up a little bit here. We still got like some pretty big PlayStation 6 news. Hugh Janus.
I'm just trying to do that. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry. We got so caught up in everything with this.
Listen, if you delinquents want to keep sending super chats, I will happily speak
No,
the English
no,
language.
hold on. There's gonna be some crazy ones, and they're gonna test you with something. I'm not putting it up on screen if they do.
Yeah, but then you just keep the money. You don't say anything.
They're gonna test you with something crazy.
This is a good crew of people. I respect them. All right, PS6 news, John. You remember back in March, Kepler L2, NeoGAF, they've been pretty spotty and whatnot with the AMD product roadmap, but everyone pays attention to what Kepler says on NeoGAF. So back in March, they said the bill of material estimate they had for PS6 was allegedly $760. On NeoGAF, when asked if the console is still in this price range, Kepler chimed in saying that the bill of material went up by around $200 since that post. So now it's closer to $960. But they continue to make the same argument, delaying. John, you're laughing here. You're smiling. You're throwing me off.
Waiting for your PewDiePie moment. Hold on. Let me see if I can find
my PewDiePie moment.
No, the Varang said to put is up there. Did I miss it?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Did I miss one? Hold on. Varang, did you put one in?
Did he submitted one?
No, I thought I did. No, he definitely read was it Mike? He read that one.
I'll read it again. Or did you not
put it in? It was it was the Mike one. The Hawk one?
Yeah.
I feel like that was him. Okay, go ahead. I'll see if I can find Varang if I miss it.
Well, back to the
Elden Ring message. He said there's an Elden Ring message.
There's an Elden Ring message?
He said there's not. Wait, I mean, if Elden Ring's on the line here.
Here, I'll scroll through them too, see if I find them.
I will find it. Well, there was that one from Varang.
I'm not seeing it. Was it recent?
Type it. You want to type it in the chat there, Varang? We'll grab it. I believe you that you put it in. Maybe I legitimately missed it.
Oh, he said no. He didn't super chat, John.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. Let me. Well, they haven't like separating the two chats on StreamYard. So let me see. Let me scroll. Go ahead, Ryan. I will find it, Varang. Don't worry.
Well, so just good Lord, I can't speak. To get us caught up, if you remember, I mentioned earlier the investor Q&A that PlayStation put up on their investor portal. So they made a number of comments about next gen hard. This is throwing me off so much.
Ryan, play Elden Ring as your rebirth replacement.
I can't do that. I can't do that. The game's too long. All right. So one question in that investor Q&A, a lot of them were about next gen, but one of them was about next generation hardware. And if it's reasonable to assume their pricing will prioritize profitability on hardware like it does today. It's a pretty long answer, but I think we do have to give the full quote here for context. They say, quote, "First, we regard hardware as the base for providing the gaming experience. And by offering products such as PlayStation Portal Remote Player, we aim to provide experiences tailored to users' playstyles beyond the living room, which has traditionally been considered the primary usage environment. As for pricing, it is not realistic for us to absorb all component cost increases, and we have already implemented some price increases outside of Japan. At present, however, sales are proceeding as planned, and we do not believe this has led to a decline in customer demand. As a principle, we do not intend to sell hardware at a significant loss. At the same time, we are carefully monitoring the market and continuing to evaluate our approach. We believe it is important for us to make every effort to ensure that customers fully understand the value we provide in relation to pricing." So we have a rumor about components being nearly $1,000 now, and we have PlayStation saying that we're not going to absorb all those costs, and we're not going to take significant losses. Now, I know I certainly always make the argument of the whole console model, certainly PlayStation and Xbox, is they subsidize. It is part of the model. You lose a little money, you make it back on software, subscriptions, accessories. To me, this reads as we'll still do that model, but we're not going to take 400 off this thing.
They're not taking the PS3 hit, is what you're saying.
No. And even the PS3 hit was like at the time $150 to $200. Adjusted for inflation, I'm sure that is in the $300-400 neighborhood possibly at this point. But that's the read to me. I think they would still take a reasonable subsidy. But if we're talking about the bill of material before even packing, fulfillment, shipping, all that stuff, unfortunately, yeah, we're now looking at a console that is touching that $1,000 barrier.
Yeah, that's where my expectation is now, is that it would be subsidized at $1,000. Like, I think they have that psychological mark of it can't go above $999.99.
Mhm.
Like, it cannot go to a comma cannot become involved with this, basically. And so with that in mind, they got to get creative with it, because I Microsoft has been pretty transparent about this. Remember, they told us their accountability margin. They raised prices on the Xbox Series. That thing, they stopped making the 2 terabyte because it was too expensive. That was probably $1,000, you know? So the Series X is what, $800 now. The PS5 Pro might, if it, I think it's going to see another price increase. Now, we don't think they're really subsidizing that. We think they're just selling it and trying to make money on it. But I think that's going to go to $1,000. I think that'll be $999, because I think Sony will increase the price of the PS5 to start next year.
Well, you
And
remember what was oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
no, I'm saying I've always kind of looked at it as the PS6 will line up with where the PS5 Pro is around the time that they're ready to like kind of release thing, but get pricing, and whatever that is, it'll basically be that's the price, but it's subsidized for the PS6.
Mhm.
So I think the PS5 Pro is going to be at that $1,000 mark, and that's kind of where I think the PS6 is going to be next holiday.
Right. Well, I mean, what was so crazy about the Xbox price increases is that they do like they lay it out like very plainly. All consoles we subsidize. They said the entire industry is struggling. We expect another 2.5 times increase by fall 2027. And then they laid out. Actually, they didn't even lay out the prices. They just announced how much each device is going up by, just to avoid optically that Series X 1 terabytes $800.
Yep.
But they also said, oh, here's how we're going to offset it, right? So they're doing all these programs, and they got Amazon 0% financing. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's live right now, but that's like they're like clearly doing a pilot program of 0% APR if you check out through Amazon. Like we have buy now, pay later, Klarna and all that shit, but like they got 0% financing through Amazon. Who's backing that? Amazon? Microsoft? Who's insuring that? That is
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
That's
question.
crazy. That is so crazy. So I don't know. I to me, I think they're going to have to explore that for sure. The thing. So Kepler made this point, and another user on NeoGaf made this point, and I can't help but think it's so true. Which is there's still no point in delaying it because one, everything's locked in. You know, the contracts, all that nonsense, right? You know, they kind of have to just deal with it. But the other thing too is that as crazy as it sounds, you just ship it at whatever price you can. It's crazy high, sure. If we assume that, you know, the price for memory does come down by the mid 2030s, then you actually can do a price decrease, which is
Yep.
like we didn't get that during this cycle. It was, you know, it bucked the trend of the console price decay curve. But now we're in this outlier because nobody wants to be selling consoles at $800 to $1,000. Nobody wants to be doing that. So if they have to, this very much could be a situation of they have to do it for the time being, then they can lower the price. Delaying it, all that does is release it at the same price by the 2030s. It's the same hardware. It's still expensive. What's the gamble? Like, what do you like? There's just no, you just ship it. If it's expensive, but then you drop the price.
Yeah, it's a tough spot right now, because they do legitimately have to think, are prices going to get cheaper over the next 2 years from then? So like 2028, 2029, most analysts believe that it will not get cheaper by then. It'll actually get a little more expensive, like by 30, 40% from the time that they would come out. Like, so from 2027, that will go up another 30 to 40%, which Microsoft said by the time we get to holiday, like memory prices will double again. So we're talking some crazy numbers right now. And so you're right in that might be the cheapest the PS6 is for the first half of its life, is literally on launch day. And it wouldn't shock me if they had to increase the price on it a year later or something. But it's tough in that you're going to have an expensive system, and you're probably going to raise the price again after launch. And then maybe you get to a position where you can lower it back down, and then hopefully get back to a point where it is the typical like as you say, the console decay curve where the price just drops over time. It'd be nice to get back to that because the world is like weird and upside down with this whole thing now. But the other thing is they mentioned being like, we talked about that before. Remember the quote where they're like, we're going to kind of come up with different ways or be kind of creative about the console launch or just however they're going to go about it. I still wonder about that. We're talking about the handheld, but like the cut down system. You know what I mean? So there is this, like, it's going to be basically like a Vita TV kind of, right? Where it's going to use the handheld chip, but in, I guess, like a box that just goes under your TV. And it wouldn't be power limited because it's not running off of a battery. So here's a strategy. All right. Let's say they have this smaller box system. So they launch with 3 SKUs, a handheld, and then 2 consoles, right? And you have the PS6 and you have the PS6 Pro at launch. The PS6 Pro is north of $1,000. That's just the way it is. You want that enthusiast experience. There you go. But then the cut down system uses less RAM, more RAM than what's in the PS5 or the PS5 Pro currently, but not so much that it's 30 some odd gigabytes GDDR7. I don't know, maybe some weird number like 22 or 24 or something. I don't know. Whatever they need to make probably the AI stuff they bake into work, right? But again, less than what they have with the PS6 Pro. And they put it out there and they get the thing at $800 because it's also all digital.
You're really in tune with this idea of like 3 SKUs and one of them's just the handheld chip. I think the only thing that doesn't make sense though is that the handheld allegedly is dockable.
Yeah, so that's the other thing with the dockable situation. However, they don't build this, they don't give you the stand in the box. I assume they're not going to give you the dock in the box either.
Yeah, but that's just like a high margin item they can sell.
Right, but let's say the handheld is like $800 and then the dock is like $150. All of a sudden you're at like almost $1,000 for the handheld with the dock. Whereas if you just want a little box, that's all you want. It's like $800. That's it.
Just for like a $200 price discrepancy.
I mean, that's $799. You know, that psychological number. They're just trying to figure out, I think, any way to get the price down. And you know what? I bet it wouldn't shock me. The thing that had 512 gigabytes of storage. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and I don't think there's any way to get around it other than just doing the plans that you already had. Just the suggestion of like waiting, like it's not going to get better in 2 years.
No, I wouldn't expect it to. So.
And I don't want an APU that was already made for like presumably 2027 to come out in the 2030s at still the same obscene price. Like, no, just at that point, sell it to your enthusiasts and, you know, then you can drop it down to like $600. I think the plan was always like, we'd love to sell this at 600. And, you know, if it's not going to do that,
it's gotten away from them. Yeah.
Maybe you can try to do that in like well into the 2030s. And then all of a sudden that feels like we went back to normalcy.
I'd have to look to see what the Switch 2 dock is. How much that one costs.
Isn't it? Yeah, isn't this the Switch 2 dock like a stupid number? Isn't it like 180 or something? Am I tripping?
I don't know if it's that. I know it's above $100, like for the official one. It's it's $125.
Oh, 25. Okay.
$125. But it has because it comes with the power cord and the HDMI cable. Like, of course, they're looking at that as cost. But I'm telling you, the dock is a way for these companies to just make like it's high margin item. So
yeah,
they would take that into account as well. In that, we'll sell the handheld, and you want to dock it. Well, here's this item we're going to make a big markup on for $150 or something.
Right.
So that's the thing. Is the way I look at it. But it's going to be, I'm telling you, this is going to be tough, man. This is a tough generation for Sony to launch right now. They just made it so much harder for themselves. Oh my gosh. No one was thinking about this. They were already talking about the PS6. Oh, it's $1,000. They just threw this out there and now people are, man, it's tough. I don't know, man. I don't know about this one.
The more I think about it, the more I think there's a possibility they do go back. But
they got it, dude. I'm telling you right now, we've gone through this podcast. I started the podcast thinking They can't get. They're not going to go back. I'm ending the podcast thinking they need to go back.
Cool, because like now I'm thinking like, yeah, I still see people complain about single player games on PC. Like I still see people like that. They were that upset about PlayStation releasing PC games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see physical game comments for well into the 2030s if they stick to it. There's no. Oh man, I don't know. It might be copium. I might be like just huffing right now, but there's a part of me that thinks, how the hell are they making this decision this soon?
Need the speech, Ryan. Let's talk PlayStation tomorrow. You got to lead the people.
I gave the speech. I talked way too much during this podcast.
Lead the people. Or we didn't talk enough.
I don't need it. I know it's too much responsibility.
I talk truth to power on it, Ryan. Tell them.
I drop truth and then I go away. That's all I do.
I'm telling you, man. People are. I am actually pretty happy with a lot of people right now. I did not. I read that and I said, that's going to annoy some people. I did not expect this. I don't think Sony expected it either. I don't. I think they're a little. I kind of think they're a little caught off guard by this.
I think they're a big company, right? I'm sure there are a ton of people at corporate that are like, we should not do this.
Oh yeah, no, I bet there are.
But there's a few people that they had the call, and they got to make that decision instead. And I think everybody that pushed back on that internally at PlayStation are so happy at how right they were.
That's true. Where do you think Herman Holst fell on this thing? Which side do you think he was on?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
People ready to throw him under the bus, so I'm just checking.
I would think this is not a conversation Herman's really even a part of.
No, I know. That's what's funny. Yeah, I saw people online. It's like, I knew it. Herman did it again.
Yeah, it's like this is like between Ashino and the CFO and Hiroki, and it's probably a bunch of corporate people.
But I'm so excited for their next interview. Because I got to hear the PR speak about how they sell this. I need to hear it.
Well, but they're so heavily controlled in what they even decide to talk about, No,
they are. They are. But
it's going to take a 0.5% shareholder to propose this to them.
Somebody out there has got to do it, man. I just need the explanation. I just need them to just say something that I don't even know how they'd explain it other than money. That's it. Let me see. There's a few more super chats here, Ryan. Let's see. Ash says 95% of my games are digital. I feel like poop. From now on, I pledge to buy all my games physically, regardless if Sony reverses course or not. We must delay the all digital future for as long as possible. I still think you should buy whatever games the market gets the cheapest, digital or physical, but I do appreciate the physical backing. If they're willing to sell you a $6 game for $5 digitally, you know what?
Well, and that's what I do. I mean, if it's that cheap, I'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
But sometimes I place the value on, I'd love to be able to just get rid of this someday too.
Yeah, okay. I get that too. I mean, there are some games that I look at, I would like to have that physically, just up on the shelf.
Right.
TS says, has Sony stopped production of the disk drives? Could be argued consumers are misled if they buy a drive in late 2027. No, because there's still a large backlog of games that you would be able to take advantage of with the disk drive. So they also, by the way, we didn't mention this, Ryan. It's funny with the disk drive. Remember the GTA 6 spot? They took it down and put it back up.
Yeah.
They removed the disk drive off that PS. Now it's all coming together.
Well, so I didn't see the original post. Was it the original PS5 model or was it a disk drive PS5 Slim model?
Oh, you know what? I can't speak on that confidently. I feel like it was
I read that it was the original model, and I'm like, that would make sense. But also, they still deliberately chose a digital console, so
yeah. Well, it makes sense with GTA 6 not having a disc, but still, I would assume the disk drive one is still their flagship system because it sells the most. Detroit says, Ryan, you're absolutely a high-ranking member of Physical Media Brigade, if not the leader. Dustin Furman, Mr. Matty Plays, and Does It Play org guys.
Look, I'm in good company. I think we all are doing great advocacy for the medium, and That's all I have to say about that.
Detroit says, just want to thank you guys. I value the service you bring to YouTube for the gaming community, and your research, thoughtful opinions are helping the PlayStation funeral to be more tolerable. Man.
Now we're all taking our turn to step up in front of the casket.
Gosh. Dave says, if I have an old console in the closet, should I power it on every now and then, or will it be fine whenever I choose to cut it on? It should be fine. I mean, I guess it depends. So
the original Xbox, you don't want to do that with.
You're talking about the console capacitor, because the capacitor inside that.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain. I mean, there's that. Isn't there like one other one you have to watch, or am I forgetting something?
I mean, a lot of those older systems with capacitors from like the 90s can be kind of sketchy, but you'll know when you try to turn it on because it won't turn on. So, the Xbox though, the capacitor can leak, and I think it damages controller traces or something. If I remember,
I was gonna say, doesn't it damage the board? Like that's why you should service them right away.
Yeah, the capacitor, because you can just remove the clock capacitor, and you just have to reset the clock every time you plug it in, basically. So
yeah, I think most are fine though.
Pop them right off. Yeah. I would check any. I would check your handhelds though. If you have batteries inside of your 3DS or your PSP, I would, and you're not going to use it for a long time, I'd recommend just removing the battery and then putting it next to the system. Like, you don't have to like take it away from it completely. Just people have found that they've ballooned up, and then it'll actually damage some of the plastics of your system. So just throwing it out there. Matt says, thought we had one more generation, but we'd have to rip off the Band-Aid 10 years from now instead of 2 years.
Agreed.
Just one more. Those are all the super chats, Brian.
I've got a few more stories we could wrap up pretty quick here. I did want to touch on the PS5 hardware sales because now we have some results coming in for May, which is the first full month of that new price increase where it's like completely flushed down into retail. This is courtesy of our friend Matt Piscatella from Circana, tracking video game sales data here in the US. So for the month of May, PS5 hardware spending dropped 43%, and it was 58% rather by unit sales compared to the same time last year. This was the worst month for PlayStation hardware since May 2000.
Well,
I don't think people are too pumped to pay $600 for a digital edition PS5.
May 2000,
right before the PS2.
The PS2 came out in Japan before then, but it wasn't out in the US yet. So it was pretty obvious, because we knew it played PS1 games. I'm sure it was obvious for everyone to not buy a PS1 at that time and instead save and attempt the PS2 lottery, which was already crazy in Japan and would be crazy in the US. So that's the low point we're at with this right now, is that another system was on the verge of coming out months later, and everyone was just waiting for that, not buying the current one. Yeah, that's not good. $600 for a digital PS5 is the hang up. So the $1,000 digital PS6 is literally gonna, I think, just run on the day one hype, if that's the case then. And that, man, dude, this is Sony's in, I don't know, is this, I mean, I know that they are, obviously they've said multiple times that they are making good money. Man, if Fortnite didn't exist, they'd be in trouble, man. I'll just be real. Like, this is an interesting time for Sony.
Here's the thing though, and this scares me just a little bit. We know console buyers are skewing towards more affluent families.
Yes.
We're in a K-shaped economy, which implies that there's still a healthy market of people that if they have money, they're still spending. This is not some sort of broad, issue where nobody's spending money. You've got people that are not doing so well spending less, people that are doing well still buying. Is there not a world where PlayStation 6 comes out and yes, it does well day one, and then also every time stock drops, it keeps selling out? That makes me a little nervous, because I also don't want the obscenely high prices to be normalized. I've seen some companies say like, oh, this is the new normal. And well, it sure as shit better not be.
I still think that the $1,000 console, I just don't think it lines up with the velocity that Sony would need for PlayStation to make sense right now. Like, they need a lot of systems out there. They don't need a couple. They need like a lot. Like, at this point, it seems like their mark that they've kind of set just by way of their trend and their history is 100 million systems. Like, they've done it every time except for the PS3, right? In terms of consoles. And we saw what happened with that. They launched at $600 and they had to like basically dig their way out of the hole the entire generation. They were eventually past the 360, but it wasn't easy. You know, they had to cut the system down to where it didn't have a PS3 in there or PS2 in there anymore, but it was half the price of the $600 PS3 at launch. So I kind of think if they launched with $1,000 PS6, I would actually be pretty surprised if they got to 10 million systems sold in the first year.
Yeah, I think for me, it's more of I don't fully believe in it, but it's more of a devil's advocacy of what if at that price tag it does better than we think, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, it makes me nervous.
I think about what systems have. That's the thing. It's a lot of the PC gaming handheld space, right? That tests $1,000 or more, and I feel like those are tens of thousands of units.
Yeah.
100,000 maybe. Like, we're not talking about the number of sales that Sony needs for their business model to make sense. So that's my only thing. It's like the PlayStation brand would have to be very strong at that time to push it and sell 10 million systems in the first year. And we're talking right now about how it feels like their stock is dropping drastically, like in terms of public eye. So, and we think I think to start 2027 is when they're going to, because GDC will be coming up. I assume after this holiday, we're going to be talking about PS6. And I don't know if they'd be fully recovered by then, even if they backtrack on this, because it's going to be in the back of everyone's mind.
Yeah. What I'm wondering, John, and this is not directly related, but it made me think about it. Does PS3 hit 100 million units sold if the financial crisis didn't happen?
Oh, that's a good point too.
So at first you mentioned PS3. I'm like, well, the 2008 financial crisis sure as shit didn't help that console.
That didn't help, but I do think that they got everything really working around like end of 2009. 2010. Yeah. It was after it was because that was like 2008 when everything really exploded and was going crazy and like obviously the world was ending and stuff. But 2009 and then into 2010, they started to really figure things out with their hardware and system and their games, obviously. So I think that did play a part of it, but I think that played a part for like everyone, all the systems. I mean, right now it seems like there's a whole economic situation too with that, not like what we've seen, although I don't know, who knows what happens with the stock market and AI in the next couple of years. It could be worse. I don't know.
Yeah, it could.
It's hard to say.
It could.
$1,000 system though.
It's very, very likely now. And that's a shame because for multiple click R3s, I'm like, I think they want 600. It looks like 700. Well, now we're looking like 800.
We have to go. It has. I think that Steam machine also put it into perspective for some people too. They're like, oh gosh, that thing is.
Well, that thing's weird.
1150 with a controller. What the world?
That thing's weird though. That price is, what the hell are they doing?
But that thing has 8 gigabytes of VRAM.
Well, that's why it's so unusual.
DDR5, right? So it's 24 gigabytes total. People are saying the PS6 may have 30 plus gigabytes GDDR7.
But that's what's so weird about the Steam machine. It's like, where is Valve buying these from? Amazon? Where are they getting the
I don't know,
modules from?
The way they described it, it was like the mob showed up and was like, how many DDR sticks do you need, huh?
Like, are they going to eBay? Like, this is where we're sourcing our parts? Like,
I don't know. They say they're dealing with like, Micron or whoever, and it's just they're such low priority because they're selling everything these AI companies. It's like, you either take it or leave it. And they go, well, there's only 3 of you we can work with, like RAM companies. So we have to work with you.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on 2.5 hours. I've got other stories here, but I knew this was going to be
you knew this was going to be a whole thing. This is unprecedented right now. That's happening. Pete Troy says, who you guys think made the decision, Holst or Totoki? You want to throw under the bus?
Well, we kind of thought Holst probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Holst wasn't even in the conversation.
Nah, 'cause he's like on the software side, really.
The CEO of the studio's business group. Yeah.
And Perfect Image says, can we make a petition about keeping our physicals? There is one. It's actually been racking up signatures too. I'll give it credit. I was the change.org, petitions, they show up a lot. And you go, okay. I think that one's over 21,000 signatures in the last 24 hours. So I don't know. People are signing it. It's like, why not? Bespoke says PS6 $2,999 curtain drop. Herman Holtz keeps dropping that microphone.
There's a lot of mics on that floor, Bespoke.
Just dropping the microphone.
A lot of microphones on that floor.
Yeah, if you want to hit us with the PSX, going to give it to you, Ryan. That's fine.
Well, I was gonna spitfire the headlines to you that we missed. Just spitfire them real quick.
Go ahead.
Another shovelware publisher is getting kicked off PSN. Afield Games. They pretty much had their stricter guidelines on PSN, so they're gone.
Oh no. Okay.
God of War Laufey was planned for 2018. Apparently, Corey Barlog pitched it to Deborah Ann Wall back then. Had the whole plan, the story laid out, things like that. Insomniac detailed the full suite of accessibility options for Wolverine. It's a crap load of things. Uncharted 1 remake code was found. References were found in The Last of Us Part 2. We all know we had that Bloomberg report from a while ago that apparently PS Studios, Visual Arts, and Naughty Dog were working on Uncharted 1 remake. Apparently there was some code hidden in that game.
I feel like that was a story at one point before that. Am I wrong? I feel like we heard about that a while ago.
I think there was a rumor prior, but it was the Jason Schreier report where it was like, oh, this was like a real thing.
That's what it was. Yep.
And then Bungie layoffs confirmed. 290 something people being laid off. That includes most of the Destiny team, some of the Marathon team, and some people at SIE that were supporting Bungie as well. So that's locked in. We did touch on the Xbox.
Marathon doing right now? We looked at Marathon.
Probably not great, I would think.
Oh, it has the same amount of players right now as Watch Dogs 2 on Steam.
Well, what's Watch Dogs 2 doing?
For some reason, I don't know what it was. Maybe it's a sale. Watch Dogs 2 actually picked up a number of players. Like, it is consistently eclipsing Marathon without any issue. It right now has 8,679 players for Watch Dogs 2, and Marathon has 8,489 players.
All right. Well, that's actually pretty decent. All right. What else do I got for you? Oh, the SIE CEO commits to more live service games. Speaking with Famitsu, that same conversation. He did say that they believe live service games are content that attracts users on a global level, so they want to continue to revitalize the market with both first-party and third-party content. Big surprise, they're still doing that.
Live? Did they say live service games too?
Live service games. Yeah.
That was close. I was worried.
Live service games. Yeah.
Thanks. Oh wow, Watch Dogs 2 is $2.49. Okay, it makes sense. Okay,
there you go. Yeah,
that's a good pick. That's a good pickup for $2.50. I will give them that. That is a good one. This is where you go. You know what? The digital game makes sense. I get it.
There was a mix-up with Halo Campaign Evolves co-op. They mentioned that you needed PlayStation Plus for 2 accounts to play local offline co-op. They have since corrected that and said you need a PlayStation account and a Microsoft account. So OPS Plus required.
Yeah, that was. I don't know what that was. My gosh,
they just got it wrong. There's no way that was right. We did all the GTA 6 stuff. I do want to call out at least. I mean, they were previously a third-party company. Maybe they're not anymore, but we're expecting some pretty massive Xbox layoffs. Apparently Monday, John. Is that what we're thinking it's going to be?
Yeah, we're thinking next week on the 6th is when people are going to start getting some memos.
Yeah, the big recap here. I mean, it is looking very ugly. So Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games, Double Fine, Undead Labs, Arcane Studios with Marvel's Blade, all on the chopping block. There was some misinformation earlier today about Obsidian. Seems like they're not on the chopping block. Hideo Kojima's OD is okay from what we're hearing from IGN, so that game's not going to get touched. But yeah, just part of the big Xbox reset plans. So it might be pretty brutal. A number of these studios are looking at possibly spinning off or getting sold. But, that's the weird thing about this whole thing is that you just showed off where you re-revealed State of Decay 3. You made a formal reveal of Senua. And now you're telling me these studios are going to close. It's kind of unbelievable. But
Xbox, it seems like Xbox held a yard sale without telling the studios.
Yeah, which is obscene. But we'll find out what happens there. What's funny is if you go back to one of those FTC emails, John, did you see this where It was the one from this email was from 2021.
Mhm.
It was from the FTC trial. So 2023 was when we saw these emails. But in 2021, Phil Spencer was talking about how they don't think they've ever closed down a studio due to the P&L, just leadership leaving. Maybe the team was losing passion. And the response from G and Emil is like really eye-opening. They said, quote, in my mind, if a studio completely needs to prove their worth by being net value over their cost, it adds a ton of pressure to release hits on a regular basis. If a game is niche, though, too bad. This is not armchair quarterbacking, I swear. I'm just super worried about the moat you've built, that the winds will change and we have a bloodbath a few years down the road.
Well,
I mean, what the
wow.
that's crazy.
Who said that?
That was from Gina Meal to Phil Spencer in an email that was leaked out from the FTC trial.
Sounds like she knew what she was talking about.
Well, just literally straight up saying, I'm worried about the moat. You know, if a game is niche, too bad. I'm worried about a bloodbath down the. I mean, that's the foresight there is
that's
nuts.
crazy. I mean, that's man.
And it's like I don't mean to like it's certainly not trying to dogpile on Xbox. I mean, these are like publishers that were all or publishers and studios that were shipping on PlayStation nowadays. You know, it's just it's crazy to think that that's what consolidation can do.
The problem is they had the vision for Game Pass of consistent and frequent releases, like all the time. And so what do you tell these studios? Lower budget, faster releases. Okay, so you have Double Fine, make Keeper, and then Kiln and whatever else. And now you completely pivot with this, leadership change. And they go, okay, no. Actually, we need blockbusters, and we're going to do like tentpole releases, and we're moving away from Game Pass. That's at least what I think is happening here. So there's now no place for the studio that's been following the orders the whole time of, okay, we'll be creative. We'll come up with some weird stuff that you can't find anywhere else, and it'll help to bolster Game Pass. So they've done nothing wrong. People are like looking at Kill and they're like, oh, who wants to play? It's like, okay, it's another game for Game Pass. I get it. It didn't exactly do that well. But the thing I like about Double Fine is they will come up with something that you did not expect. And those are the kind of games that occasionally show up and surprise people. And they're like, wow, this is really cool.
Right. Well, that's what makes me nervous about a studio like Double Fine is that they're in San Francisco. Like, how the hell are these people going to buy back their independence off of Xbox?
Yeah.
It's based off the games they release. How the hell are they going to survive? It's nerve wracking. It's a little bit scary.
I think Double Fine is, it's easy for me to say, but outside investment, I actually think Double Fine is worth like backing and picking up. So,
yeah, you would think, but also like money's hard to come by nowadays. Is anybody really looking to make a financial bet in video games?
Tencent.
Even they're backing up a little bit.
NetEase.
Because wasn't Tencent like liquidating a bunch of studios and their minority stakes?
Yeah, I think they would look at Double Fine as a cheaper bet, I guess.
Maybe.
People like those ones where you can get it, you can get it cheaper, obviously, and get better returns because you think they punch above their weight. And I think Double Fine does because they have like a creative vision.
Yeah.
It's hard to stand out.
Those are the quick fire news stories. We got caught up pretty quick.
You want to hit us with the, let me see. Yep, I got everything there. You want to hit us with the PSX going to give it to you?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for PS. Topic of the show where we go over something old, cool, nostalgic, or sweet about PlayStation history, teach the kiddos something they didn't know about PlayStation. This was one of those things where I'm like, eventually we'll do this on PSX. I should not just use this on any episode.
Okay.
But now there's never been a more pertinent time to use it other than right now. And I'm fairly certain I didn't use this in a previous episode. But 2013, John, what happened in 2013? PlayStation 4, PS4, Xbox One.
Yep.
The build up to those machines. Now, look, there's obviously the big E3 moment. Jack Tretton, PS4 support used games. Then Andrew House said it won't require an online. No. Jack Tretton still said online check-in. Andrew House fired the final shot there of the price tag. But it was, I guess it must have been shortly after E3. But it was the quick little video that a Shuhei Yoshida and Adam Boyes made to share on the internet. They thought it would be just this funny, goofy little thing. It's mere seconds long, and it is how to share games on PlayStation 4. And it was very much a direct shot at the competitor. and their whole PR nightmare of, yeah, you can sell games with partnered retailers, and Xbox executives were giving different answers that were conflicting with each other. And PlayStation put out this few second video, this lovely animation with like XMB waves, step one, how to share a game. And Shuhei just hands him a copy of Killzone Shadowfall to Adam Boyes. Adam Boyes grabs it, looks, and goes, thanks. Over.
That was it.
How to share games.
Kill shot.
How to share games on PlayStation 4. And I should have checked now, but how many views did that have?
It was YouTube? A lot.
It was big.
It was rough because Xbox was going through it back then. They backtracked on a lot of. That's the thing. Okay, so we talk about the backtracking for Sony. Dude, Microsoft had so much of this stuff worked out to where they were going to go forward with the DRM stuff, and they backtracked on everything just about. Like a lot. I think the one thing that you still kind of, if you set up your system, you needed to connect to the internet once. I remember that. To set it up, but otherwise they backtracked on the used games thing. It didn't matter. It was too late. And that was like the last real blow, I would say, for the generation. I mean, the PS4 was cheaper by $100 as well, but that one, that ruffled some feathers.
Yeah, unfortunately, the comments now are very much new and recent on this video.
Are they really? I gotta check that.
Of course, yeah. It's got 20 million views. Uploaded June 10th, 2013. So I'm sure people remember this. It's not much of a PSX going to give it to you, but it is, I think, a very noteworthy item.
Oh, yeah. No, I do. I think it's very, very notable. Obviously very relevant, too.
And what's funny is that, so like the backstory is that, this was very clearly not much of a corporate thing. I believe this was the staging area behind like the stage floor for E3. Mm-hmm. It was somewhere like in the back area. I don't remember exactly, but Shuhei has said that between Adam and him, they just thought it'd be a silly thing to do. Like they really just like said, yeah, why don't we do that? That'll be like a funny thing. And, nowadays PlayStation's just so heavily corporatized that something like this wouldn't really happen nowadays. They'd run it through so many channels to get approval, but this was a much more lenient and fun, like light-hearted PlayStation.
Oh man, lenient and fun PlayStation.
It was. Well, do you remember Shuhei was like the cool customer service guy because he had a corporate spot at PlayStation. He's the leader of Worldwide Studios. That should be somebody that's not necessarily in the limelight all the time. He would do stage appearances, obviously, but he became so enjoyable to interact with because he would be on Twitter like responding to fans. He would answer genuine customer complaints, or sometimes in a fun way, like somebody would be like, you should hire me. He'd say no.
He buried the Steam machine the other day.
Yeah, he did give some harsh words. He did give some harsh words on the Steam machine. So he's still a funny guy. He's still a funny dude.
You know what? I'll say it. PlayStation should get him back.
They let go of a real one. No doubt. I mean, look,
they should get him back.
Jim's not there anymore. We've seen them make some pretty sweeping, wide changes with new leadership.
And I'm not saying bring him back just for the indie stuff. I mean, like bring him back for a serious role within PlayStation, like at the decision maker for the AAA games, game direction, wherever. I think he has that kind of a pull still.
I wonder if he wants to do that.
I don't know. And I guess that's part of it too. Does he want to? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like you kind of leave the game, right? In the case in the video game space, we'll say. But then there's that, I'm sure that poll where he's like, I could still do it. I could still go back and I could turn this around, but I got some ideas,
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these like older guys though, I mean, sometimes when they leave, it really is just like, I don't want to be here anymore. Now we found out with Shu, it was more of a like, hey, new leadership's coming in. We'll give you this role instead. So, Shu's been like joking that, oh, I was fired or, whatever the case is, but I'm not sure if he would want like such a big position like that again.
I mean, it's Nishino, of course, calling the shots there, who obviously also has more of a focus on Japan than was there previous years. He's proving that by losing money on a PS5 there. And I don't know, maybe this is a situation where Shuhei comes in and is in a more, we'll say, comfortable space or position. Like you said, Jim Ryan's not there. Herman Hulse, he's there, but he's definitely lost some of his controller power at in that company. So,
well, yeah, he reports to Nishino now. They did that co-CEO thing for like less than a year, I think.
Imagine he walks in the office in the Shino, and then Yoshida just spins around in the chair and is like, "Hey, we work together now. We're coworkers." Man, I would like to see it. I think it would make PlayStation is missing that little sense of, you said fun PlayStation back then. They're missing a little bit of that, I will say.
I mean, they're very sterile now, you know.
Yeah.
They've taken that like Apple approach of we hardly talk, our products are expensive, and you know, we put out high caliber, like very polished things. Like that analogy to Apple, I think does have some truth to it. A bit like you watch this video and you think it's just so casual and kind of fun. You can tell like it still went through PR. Like there's copy at the bottom that says the foregoing instructional video applies only to disc-based games. PS4 multiplayer online access requires PSN account and a PS Plus subscription.
Yeah, I mean they still have to do that, but you know it's like you said, they just kind of said, you know what, they just roughed it and said, let's get a camera, we'll record this real quick, it'll be fun. So that's something I wouldn't mind seeing coming back, but maybe that's why Astrobot felt so different. This is still kind of it had that fun PlayStation feel to it.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've got for you, John.
2 hours and 45 minutes. That's about right. Like 80% of that was talking about PlayStation's physical stumble here.
You were not wrong.
I told you it was going to happen. I told you we were going into this. I was like, dude, this is it, man. This is such a big thing. It honestly has the potential to sway the entire market of buying habits. So it's a big deal. Dave says, who's the cooler character, Dante from Devil May Cry or Cloud from Final Fantasy 7? I'd have to say Dante.
Cloud.
Peachroyd says, no Fizzin or Metal Gear Solid 1 Remake physical. My gosh.
No
People just
Fizzin.
keep saying games. I'm like, oh, you're right.
No,
you know
Silent Hill 1 Remake isn't getting it.
I mean, you know what it's down to? It legitimately is down to, man, I hope this thing gets a Switch 2 version. That's just where we are. We're like physical games now.
That's a key card, probably.
Even that, it's like, is it going to be a key card or not? I was shocked that Oblivion Remastered is on the cartridge. That surprised me.
I think that was that. Didn't they do that with Indiana Jones too?
They did. I don't know what's going on over there at Bethesda, but they're like, yeah, we'll do the cartridge.
Yeah, do that, but they fucking print incomplete builds on PlayStation.
Right. I don't get it. Like, it's so weird.
Fucking dicks.
I don't know. Tendo Matt says we need Kevin Butler back. That would do it. That would move the needle.
Jerry Lambert selling a Bridgestone tire and then using a Wii remote. That son of a bitch. I don't think I didn't forget.
Nishino seems like the forgiving type.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. I got everyone there. We did. Shout out to everyone who came through. I think that was our most watched Click R3 or most live attended Click R3.
Most likely.
More than 1,000 people here. They just wanted to make sure you're okay, Ryan. That's all.
I'm not. Thank you for asking.
You're going through it. I know. It's going to be an interesting years plus ahead for Ryan. You need to let us know what the first full price physical game digitally will be.
It's probably GTA 6.
But is it going to be GTA 6 from the store, the physical case?
Oh, no, I'll still buy a useless case with a fucking code in it.
Okay, so we need to figure out what the first full price digital case.
The case doesn't count, huh?
Well, that's still something you're getting. I understand it's not the game. The disc is not in there. I need to know what the first one is where you go on that PlayStation store and you begrudgingly hover over the game and you press cross correctly, by the way, cross. And then you buy the game straight up and then you download it. There is no, I'm going to go to the store and swipe a card. Nothing. Nope.
We won't have that conversation potentially until 2028.
I was going to say it's going to be a bit, huh?
It will be a bit.
Okay. You got time then, Ryan, but we will revisit this.
We all have time.
We will revisit this with whatever the launch PS6 game is that you have to buy.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's gonna be it right there. It's whatever they put next to it.
Yeah.
Oh, what if it's Spider-Man 3, but there's a PS5 physical copy? Or no, because it wouldn't be, because it'd be after 08, or it'd be after 28.
Applies to all of them.
Man,
Applies to everything.
that's a shame. That's a shame. Oh well. There's still time, Ryan. Rally the troops tomorrow. Everyone tune in to Let's Talk PlayStation. Ryan's got a rousing speech.
I mean, I don't, but
Okay.
I do touch on it.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I appreciate it. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to tell you about how Sony backtracked and physical games are still on the menu. Or not. We'll see you guys then.